Yep. Yeah, I have my 56 in, what is it, like 2 weeks or a little over that, 2, yeah, on the 19th.
Cool. So, Tim's going to join us when he's able. He has a family Zoom meeting, and then he'll be on. So, 'cause he's got 2 classes, he wants to. You can play one of them, the Commando.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
Yep.
Yay! Excel, can you hear us? Hey, long shot. Just say you can hear me. I hate the ads, man. Good.
They're necessary evil.
Yep.
Twitch works.
And it's just Anna and me. Tim's running late. So, yeah, Anna's being quiet.
Yeah, I don't say too much yet.
Yeah.
I babble so much anyways.
Got a ton of great giveaways and announcements tonight, too, so we're in good shape.
Yeah, we announced that my seminar is
Something like-
of the
Oh, yeah, but you know what?
Yeah.
We got it worked out.
Yeah,
So-
well, yeah, we just have to tell people that
Yeah, and it's on the
you know,
schedule. So
yeah,
we're all...
exactly, that it's not disappearing. It's
Yeah,
just official.
Mike Disney's has a problem because we're starting at 9 Central, and the actual con doesn't start for some reason on Thursday until 10. So there's no way to. So we have to put it in as starting an hour early, you know, whatever, and just putting in the notations. This thing is on an hour earlier.
Yeah, so both
What's up,
me
Greg?
and Mike Disney, we have to kind of tell them that we're going to do this anyway, even
Yeah,
if it
plus-
doesn't appear officially.
Plus all the after dark chats.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got it. It's not going to be a big
Oh yeah,
deal.
yeah. I just have to mention it so people don't think that we've changed. Those events aren't gone. So.
Gotta keep on looking up for Tim.
Little doggy that wants to come up here. Oh, there we go.
Like I said, still just Anna and me, and then it'll be Anna, myself, and Tim, and just tonight, I think. So, and we'll have a small crew next week too, but that'll be good. We'll talk about that. All the great stuff coming up pre Gary Con.
Yeah.
Boatload of good stuff. Yeah. I still haven't told you about this special guest on with
No,
on
you just
the
mentioned
same
that
time as
there would
Luke.
be
Yes.
a special guest. That's
A guest
all I
we've
know.
never had before.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I got my books. I got all my stuff I need for tonight, with all my classes and races that we're going to discuss on my end. Got all that.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm reading all. I'm on my reading all the old dragons. I'm on 180 or 179, I think. Yeah, 179. So. And there was some specialty priests, halfling specialty priests, and elven deities and stuff like that. The first, I'm on the second issue where Wolfgang Bauer was the assistant, editorial assistant.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I think that was the one 78. I think was the first one I saw his name. And so I was like, so I read the one I had to just the first time. It's interesting. It's a little bit down memory lane, but I forgot how many other things there were in Dragon back in the day. There were like 6-8 pages of the roller computers. And did you know that they actually had a review for a mini golf simulator?
Oh
in
yeah, yeah.
Dragon
They had
magazine?
Crush. I
That's
think
not-
there's a review for Crush, Crumble, and Chomp in one or something.
Yeah, and
as
flight
well, so-
simulators and all sorts of weird things that later was not part.
Thanks,
But
Sean. Thank you for the
Yeah.
resub. 19 months, Sean. Where'd the time go, man?
wow, yeah.
Wow.
It was interesting to read these old magazines, not only for the articles themselves, but you kind of remember what you did back in the day when you were like 18, 20, 21, and so on and so forth. So it's fun.
Yeah. So I had my birthday dinner celebration. Had the in-laws over tonight. It's actually tomorrow, but I'm not. You know, it just made sense to have it on a Sunday. You know.
Yeah.
So I spelled celebration wrong.
Just because they're celebrating.
Yes. It was just very small. Just wife, son, and it's over. It's over. They just left. They just left 6:45, 6:50 my time. So yeah, I was all pre-prepped. That's why the ads came out so early on Discord today, because I knew I wouldn't be able to do them like 45 minutes before or an hour before. So, nah, it's not a big deal. 55 is a big deal because then I can actually go in a retirement home. A retirement community in Jersey.
Yeah, I live in a retirement community, but I snuck in early. So yeah.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait. Any day this Kickstarter is going to hit for Infinite Dimensions.
Yeah.
Cannot wait. And thank you all. Looks like we're getting a crowd cranking up already here, which is great. Thank you. Said it is tomorrow officially, March 8th, but it's just easier. Yeah, I remember that. Yes. See, that's the thing. That's the thing, Patrick. They know ahead of time that Gabbin is on here. So, and they came early, and we had dinner, you know, around 5 my time. Hung out a bit. It's all good. It's all pre-planned. I'm never intentionally rude to my in-laws. Not intentionally. Just kidding. Exactly. It's already March 8th, so there you go. Wonderful. Look at that, 7:28. We're right on time. Even with my earlier crash. Already tomorrow somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Well, as nice and tomorrow as it's going to be, Patrick, with me going first thing in the morning to the Super Center in South Jersey to get my COVID shot, so so I'll be starting work a little late tomorrow, so that's good. All right, part 2. Custom player classes. I saved all the good ones for week 2, as you can see.
Yeah, the juicy ones.
The juicy ones, the good ones.
But do you have any statistics of how many have played each class?
That's a good question, but
because now you have such a good. Big
these are popular. All these are very, very popular, including the Shield Thane, which is the 5th one. I just only had room for 4. And then, and I didn't create that. The other crazy build did, but we've edited it. So, oh, thank you. You saw that? You saw that Reaper Virtual Con talk yesterday? Thank you. Yeah, I tried to add a little humor into it and where I could. So, that's. Yeah, it was myself and Nightheart Gaming and Praetors on that. It was fun. It was fun. I was very honored to be invited. So. Boom. Good evening, everyone. I'm JK Lord Gazumba, and I have a big picture of Anna because we're waiting for the ever mysterious Tim to hop on. So I ain't messing with it. Yes. Woohoo! I'm not messing with anything right now. So hope everyone's well. Thank you for the birthday wishes there. It is I don't feel any older. I guess I'm doing a lot
Yeah.
better than I was this time last year as far as health goes. So that's a good thing.
Hmm.
So happy, happy, happy after midnight. Even had May the 4th be with you. That's cool.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you, Grindelwolf.
yeah, Gitano, thank you very
Yeah,
much for
get
hanging.
Thanos. Yep. Hmm.
It's going to be a
Yep.
good one tonight. So let me look. We hit over that 3,900 mark on our way to that. Thank you, Ranger. On the way to that wonderful 4,000
Hmm.
goal. So my goal
Yep.
is hopefully we're through that, Gary Con, but we'll see. You never know. So we're gonna try to get there, and you know make that fourth 1,000. I guess first year was slow, and then we just kind of picked up. Probably averaging like 100 a month now, which is kind of cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're there. We're 95 away, 95
Yeah.
away from that wonderful 4,000 mark. So
Yeah. It's always the first ones that are difficult, and then the more you have, the easier it is to get a few more.
that's so true. That's
Yeah.
absolutely true. So last week we did some really cool classes, and this week is real meat. I know
Yeah.
Gary's like, I want to talk about the Undead Hunter. I'm like, no, that's next week, Gary.
Yeah.
So
And I was thinking, you mentioned you have so many, but a few of them are more like experimental classes. Like you kind of
playtest.
introduce them, yeah, play tests,
Oh, yeah.
and some of them are more kind of meaning. Do you have a few that you have like 10, 20, 50, 100 characters with, and some of them are like a unique one, or
Well, so the ones we have tonight. Now, two of them are Tim's, and they're both play tested.
Okay.
Like complete play tests, and which is fine by me. Hey, what's up,
Yeah.
Mike? We have by the way, we got some cool giveaways tonight. Some of
Oh,
you may
yeah,
already
please.
have this, but
Yep.
we have some cool giveaways. So Undead Hunter is very popular. I don't know. It's popular in my game. 8 characters that are Undead Hunters
Mm-hmm.
out of 2,000. Or
Yeah.
Inquisitors, there's even more Inquisitors. I've
Yeah.
had the Inquisitor longer than I've had the Undead Hunter.
Yeah.
Necromancer, I've had, and a lot of people were. Mac, was it you giving me crap about the Necromancer book being an Al Qadim secret book? Someone did. It was you. You were Oblivion less. I think it was you. But I don't care. I've had the Necromancer class since before that book came out. But
Yeah.
when that book came out,
It's kind of an obvious that you want necromancers. Either
yes, I
just
love
as NPCs,
Necromancer
or you
class.
want to detail them out. so to
Well, we
speak.
have
So,
PCs and PC and Necromancers.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the most
And-
famous characters in my campaign, the Iron Brigade, Sail and Shadow Moon, is a Cleric Necromancer multi-class.
That
And
sounds like a lich in the making.
well, he's chaotic stupid. So
Okay.
yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
He doesn't make it to.
Yeah, and there's some great minis for it too. Did Bounty Hunter become the Undead Hunter? No, they're not even nothing alike. The Undead Hunter is a Paladin subclass. The Bounty Hunter is a Thief subclass. The Bounty Hunter is the good guy's version of the Assassin, so you can knock out characters, right? And they use blunt weapons. You can be neutral or good or evil if you want as a Bounty Hunter too. But you can have good alignments with that. The Undead Hunter, which you're going to see tonight, is a Paladin subclass, and
Yeah.
it's really cool. I think it's one of my best character class creations ever, and I completely did it from scratch. Where some of these I stole from here and there,
Yeah.
the Undead Hunter is completely my own from scratch deal. So that's a neat thing. So let's set this up. So here's the deal. Mike Disney will hop on too. So you notice I got a button down now for Mike added to sponsors. If you scroll down, if you click on that, it takes you to Mike Disney's Patreon. So just like Anna's Patreon, Mike has one too. You know, I'm going to give away at least one of these tonight. Okay, at least one
Cool.
of these.
Yep.
All right, depending on how things go, and then we're going to from Troll Games. If you did not be lucky enough to get. I had this open, but remember I had that little crash, so I got to go back to that. We're going to give out, if you did not lucky enough to get them during the fundraiser, I'm going to give out all the Crusader journals again. All right, that one. So, that'll be a good one too. And we'll see how many, at least one of each of those tonight. All right. So let me set this up here, and that'll give you some good giveaways for this evening. So let me go and make sure that I don't crash my stream again. Oh, that journal collection is really nice, really nice. So hit the right button. Always worried about doing the wrong thing here, but there you go.
Well,
Tim had a family Zoom meeting, so he will be here as soon as he can. So who will get here as soon as, there we go. All right, so you guys can start start hitting the exclamation drawing for that. Please just be on for either or, and we'll just see where we are. We'll see where we are, but at least one of each. So I started out, and I talked about this, Anna, when we first, last week. What's up, Fraley? How you doing, man? I said 1E, 2E early on. I wanted more classes when we started playing because I was tired of the fighter cleric mages, cleric mage. Everyone had triple class or double class, multi-class characters, and there was stuff missing. And when the Necromancer was an easy pick, it just was, because there just needs to be those baddies, you know.
Did you allow assassins in your game?
Not until within the last 10 years.
Okay.
With some limits, some serious limits on them.
Yeah.
No, that's why the Bounty Hunter. The Bounty Hunter is the first two classes that we. Hey Tim, nice shirt.
No.
The first two classes we had that were not standard was Bounty Hunter and Lens Archer. They're the first two.
Yeah.
Necromancer was one of the next custom created classes I did. So, right, Tim?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right.
We can hear you. Yes, absolutely. So, how are you? Good?
Good.
Good to hear.
We had a little technical issue, so everything ended earlier. So.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Did bedtime procedures with the young man, so should be good.
The only difference between first and second edition is the enhancements that second made over first. Now, I'm not a fan of all them. Everyone knows I hate invokers, and I hate all those sphere-casted mages types. Now, Illusionist is one of those, but Illusionist, I just kept the first edition one and made some enhancements to it. But Illusionists can't cast what's not on their spell list in our game. So they can't cast conjuration spells or whatever other spells they have access to. That's not the way it is. Same thing with Necromancers. So why don't we start? What do you want to start with?
I'm going to the experts here. So
yeah, you know what? Yeah, Tim always has a nice haircut, doesn't he? It's that military background.
Yeah.
Let's start with. I'm going to wait to do the shield thing because Mike Disney was interested. Let's start with the Necromancer. Whole book on its own. All right, the entire book here, Necromancer. Okay. The key to what I do in at 1E, 2E is if there's a prestige class that I like, or if there's something out there in an article I can pilfer some idea from scratch, I'm going to back convert it. So, like, for example, Knights, and I know Von Moko asked me about this, the Knight class, which is a prestige class in 3.5, when we always use the Knights from kind of like from Dragonlance, and we made them and advanced them in, was one. Hey, what's up, Antiquitous and Jim? Good to see you. So I always back convert stuff to first edition. Now, here's our Necromancer spell lists. Necromancers are like Illusionists as far as gaining spells.
But cooler.
They are cooler, and they go on the same table, and they don't get bonus. They don't get 10% bonus at all. Let me just make sure I can lift up, because remember, I can't stop this stupid scroller anymore, so I got to throw stuff up. So I'm trying to make this set so that I can do that without crashing.
I'm sure you could learn the code appropriate to go ahead and make that happen.
I don't want. I'm not messing with XSplit Broadcaster's code. Trust me. That's the last thing I want to do. All right, boom. Here's the base Necromancer. Mind you, this class was created from scratch, and I've enhanced it based on some things that have come out and spells. So you have your base intelligence and wisdom. They have to have wisdom for some reason. I guess the wisdom of dealing with the undead. Now, in my game, go ahead, Tim.
Wisdom represents willpower. So I think in order to suck it up and like dig your hands into the innards of the gross dead things, you got to have some willpower.
Right. That's true. And it says any good alignment's extremely questionable. I've never had a good aligned Necromancer in my game. Okay.
Are you sure, Jay?
What?
Who had the very first Necromancer in your game?
I'm trying to think. You did?
Remember John before he was a specialty priest of
He's
Bakken?
neutral. Pete and John. John is neutral.
I feel like he's
Bakum
good
is
there.
neutral. Bakum, see? No, see?
Oh,
Even
he's
Tim's
neutral. You're right. All right. So not good.
Yeah, so Pete and John from Pete and John's Teamster service has a dual class human. He started out as a Necromancer, then he dual classed to a specialty priest at Bakum. What a mix that is.
It's really turned out to be interesting sometimes, though. It gets
Yeah, it is.
interesting spell.
It is. Definitely.
And it's definitely not a min-max move because
No, it's not. Not
the
at
cleric
all.
has more hit points, and so you don't get new hit points until you surpass the magic level. So,
Yep, John the Necromancer. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So here's the races: human, half elf, and then all the elves, elvins, including dark, which is perfect for this, right? You're allowed to multi-class. The options are fighter, cleric, thief, assassin. Okay, so you can really get some. We've had fighter necromancers. We have cleric necromancers are really nasty. And we have one Salen, that's Bill's character, highest level. Brought up from first for a necromancer in my game. We have a dual class, and that is Riff, and that is Walt's character. He's fighter, and then he's fighter specialist of harpoon, and then he's a necromancer. So we have all sorts of messes. They're on the illusionist table. That means they only go up to 7th level of spells. No knights.
Okay.
All right.
Wow.
So there you go. There's 7 levels
the
of
cost.
spells. This is the necromancer list. Now there are spells for necromancers that are shared by other classes. I added some fire sphere because sometimes these guys need to burn their creations to make sure they're dead. So they have burning hands, they have fireball, but they don't have a lot of the other major ones. They have wall of fire, and I bet you that's the most powerful fire spell they have. They have cloud kill at 5th, right?
that makes perfect sense.
That makes perfect sense.
I need a bunch of zombies. Cloud kill.
Yeah.
Animate dead.
Yes, they are a wizard though subclass, so they are paper thin with 4 hit points. So extra spells are available to mages. That does not have alignment restrictions. That was gribbly true early on, but it's not anymore. So do they have access to? Let me see of a spell that ghastly hands or undead summoning 1 or vampiric touch they could, and also priest of Eos get that too. All sorts of spells. Morganaver's sting, flesh shiver. Everyone remembers flesh shiver that I cast during the Greyhawk. Yes, yeah. So there are spells on here. If you go just with the base Unearthed Arcana book, there's not enough to create a list. So you need to find these, and I should have copied. This is one I should have snipped, and I didn't. I want to show you this. You see this list? That is the list of reference books that I get to make my Necromancer spell list. How many books are on there? 15?
Yeah.
Yeah. That doesn't count on Arcana Player's Handbook 1. They are all the spells we got. Complete Book of Necromancers, Champions of Faith, Eldritch Might 1 and 2, Eldritch Sorcery, Excalibur, Great Net Spellbook, Magic of Faerun, Oriental Adventures, Player's Handbook 2, Player's Handbook 3. Pages from the Mages, Player's Option, Relic and Rituals 2, Relic and Rituals, 7 Sisters, Tome of Magic, Complete Wizard's Handbook, Wizard Spell Compendium 1. There you go.
Yeah.
To make this spell list up.
Yeah. Do you have any necromancer spells that normal wizards can't cast, or is it?
Yeah. There's a lot of spells that came out in that 2E, 3E realm.
So there are certain necromantic spells that a general wizard or
absolutely.
can't. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, both necromancers and wizards can cast Animate Dead, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because that's on the list. But they can't cast Sword Shun. Only necromancers can. And I'll tell you the example of a Sword Shun spell. The Sword Shun spell is really cool. Necromancer takes a dagger or a knife, and he sticks him or herself with it, and it does the damage. And then every other round does 1 point of damage. But they cast that spell, they're immune to edge weapons while that's in effect.
Yeah, time to bludgeon.
They seem so NPC-ish, Patrick, but they make good on-the-border PCs. So if you sign up for Horror in the Hools, or if you have this, there is a multi-class cleric necromancer in here. One of the
I'd say-
NPCs I provide you is Dex the Misunderstood, an Elven Cleric Necromancer. All right? So if you have this, you look it up and go, oh my gosh, there's a Necromancer right in here. Some of the Necromancer spells I have are in this book, in Horror in the Holes as well. All right? So they are there.
I could see a good Necromancer if he's if his motivation is to really be the greatest enemy of necromancy, and it's like you got to know your enemy, right? So
Yeah.
maybe they just don't animate a bunch of, they don't do the normal things, but they also have a lot of sway over undead, right? They have a lot of powerful things. You could reverse an animate thing, right?
Yes, they have. All right, so here's some of the spells that I found over the years that a lot of these were in Dragon early on. What's up, Gallagher? Yeah, Necromancers are awesome. Okay, this is 3rd level. This is one of the best spells to throw at a over-anxious party of paladins and clerics. It's called Double Spell. All right, now this is 3rd level. I'm just going to read this, and then you're going to go, oh, that would be cool to
It
use.
sounds harmless enough.
Double Spell. Are you ready? This rare spell alters simple undead basic zombies and skeletons from humans, demi-humans, blah, blah, blah. All right. So what happens is that when this double spell is cast, it's cast on newly created undead, and when they are turned, they disappear. And the next round, double the number appear, and they're unturnable. And that's a 3rd level spell.
That's like, you turned us. Psych.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you so very much. So this is a great class, and I love this class because there's a complete book of Necromancers out there, right? And what I have taken from the complete book of Necromancers is some spells and this that you see up, the special power and the price. This is ripped off from Complete Book of Necromancers, where when they get up to 9th and every 3 levels after, they can grab a really crazy special power. And Carlos has done a wonderful job of editing this in Horror in the Holes so that everything's changed. But it's, you know what I mean? So it's in there. The Necromancer class is in Horror in the Holes stripped down, okay, from what we could do legally, just so you're aware, all right? And with each special purpose, special power you get, whether it's charm by sight or you regenerate or whatever, you have a price, which is I have to sleep underground, or I have to kill someone once a week, or I have to have, this undead skeletal cat on my shoulder, whatever it is. And they're all really cool. Or I smell I give out awful body odor and there's nothing I can do about it. It's really cool. They don't have to take the price. They don't have to take the ability. They can pass on it. But if they want that special cool ability, they have to take the price. All right, and that's a really neat thing. And I honestly had a Necromancer class. I only put this in there a few years ago. And once again, that is in this book, the complete book. This book is this book's like $100. Get the PDF. Do yourself a favor and get the PDF. You know what I mean? But good copy of that. Yeah. So
I never realized.
Oh my gosh, the blue
that
ones.
Book I have was.
Oh my Anna, the book is nasty. Yes, the book is super.
Expensive. It's awesome. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So note that I will help people make their own. Alan Groy make it his own, but you understand why I won't give out the full. Like what's in Horror in the Holes is more than enough to get you started with your own. And there's a ton of spells we put in there. Ones that Carlos felt comfortable putting in that book. And there's a lot of the spells that didn't make it because we just didn't want to make sure we didn't violate any copyrights. So if they pass, they change their mind. Well, remember, they get them every 3 levels. Go ahead, Tim. Sorry.
The Necromancer was really fun to play for the last big event at Gary, the virtual Greyhawk Con.
Yes.
He was fun.
So remember this. Tim played Nazim bin Khalifa. He played remember, Mike... Our favorite person, Greyhawk Mike, has taken Abby Dalzim and turned him into an all mage, right? Who's a necromancer. This person was dual class. This person was an elementalist of Alamazad the Wise, who went seeking knowledge and all, and then got corrupted by Nazim bin Khalifa and became a dual class elementalist necromancer, which I normally don't allow, but it was for flavor. So Tim played this evil necromancer on Luke Gygax, Eric Mona, Chuck Cumbo, Steven Chenault, Anna, and he had a blast with it. So
It was fun.
Yeah.
Even though Jay didn't let me unleash my full nastiness, he did fully let slip the reins. He kept a little bit because he didn't want me to kill everybody.
Right. Because we wanted to have fun, right, Anna? We don't want to. We don't want
Yeah.
TPK the party.
Yeah.
So note this: there are places to find these spells. Great Net Spellbook has a bunch, like this one, 5th level, Grasping Hands of Horror. This spell causes a number of arms equal to the level of the wizard to reach out of the ground and grab the target. This is kind of like Maximilian's Earth and Grasp, but it's way better. The hands themselves do no damage, but when they pull a victim under, the victim begins to suffocate. All right, so that's a Necromancer spell I found in the Great Net Spellbook. They're also all right, here's another one, 6th level, Animate Skeletal Warrior. Well, I guess you know what that spell does.
That's a good one.
Here's an even better one. Flesh Box, 6th level. This spell enables the caster to store an item of smaller size than he inside his body. The item remains unusable and ineffective while stored this way. Only one object may be stored at any time. So you can hide something inside your body. I mean,
I could have hid the tongue. I could have hid the tongue inside.
You're not that high level to cast 6th level spells, though.
Darn.
Yep. Now, better version of that is Implant Object, which is 7th. This spell allows the caster to implant one magical device into his being or himself for full effect. Weapons cannot be implanted, and there must be space for the body or item. Gloves can be sunken under the skin, rings placed around the ribs, etc. Only one item per 5 constitution points can be implanted. So you can put rings of protection inside your body. These are spells that don't exist anywhere except the Great Net Spellbook, right? And so you gotta go spell by spell in that book and find these spells, or the necromancy ones. And I spent many years in the 90s adding to that list. When we started, the necromancer list had about 10 spells in each level, right? Now we're up to 30.
Yeah.
30.
I just remember the game changer of Spectral Hand.
Spectral Hand is a really great spell, and I'll explain to you why. Spectral Hand is in Player's Handbook 2, and it's 2nd level, and it creates that fake hand that you're allowed to do touch spells through. So we've incorporated it into the Necromancer as its main attack version, so you can do it at distance. Now imagine this: you're a cleric Necromancer, and I allow you to stand where you are, and at 200 feet or whatever, you can move that Spectral Hand out, and you can cast healing touch spells through it, and bind wounds, cast wound closure, cast repair injury, and you don't have to run up to them in the middle of a fight. So it's one of those one of those cool things. So priestess there are 2 priests or priestesses subclasses that get necromancer spells. I use priests, and it's right in Eyes of the Evil, so they get a whole. So I've added some above and beyond what's in that list, and Ouija, they get some necromancer spells too, which you all saw Thursday night with her. So that's the first one we're going to talk about. Necromancers are pretty useful, though. It should have better seen her party with a great good humor. Yeah, so you have fun with this idea of making up a baddie, and they can be neutral. They can be on that border, right, Anna? They don't have to be all evil. They can be trying to use it for some kind of benign purpose, like Dex the Misunderstood and Horror in the Holes, but then again, they may get corrupted. So
that's one thing that is interesting. The other thing is that the kind of what is the synergy or the crossover or the synergy between clerics and various priests that are the masters of that magic and wizards, or like necromancers who do it the arcane way, so to speak. And
true.
And that's meaning they can't heal, meaning that there seems to be a bunch of limitations on what the wizards or arcane magic can accomplish when it comes to living matter or dead matter or whatever. So it's kind of so it's you have because you have the evil priests and stuff that and the necromancer. So it's kind of I take it that's the atheist way of of wanting to harm others in a way. So that's why I see that in a way that necromancers are probably generally way more evil than priests that have
Oh, yeah.
the
For the most
same
part.
abilities, so to speak. Yeah.
Here's the thing. So
Maybe necromancers are in it just for the science.
Yeah,
well,
I can see some of them, yeah, simply because of it. But on the other hand, a lot of priests have that knowledge through their gods and their magic and all that stuff too. So yeah.
when you have this class and when second edition just hit, okay, I said there's spells in this. They created a lot of necromancy sphere spells for wizards in second edition. They immediately were pulled out from the wizard list. The number one is Vampiric Touch. That's a necromancer spell. So you go through a Spectral Hand, which you get +2 to hit with it. Plus we have the feat that has Battle Touch, and you touch someone, you drain die 6 for every other level in hit points, and you get that all back in healing. So that's how they heal themselves. They suck the life out of other people. That is not a mage spell in my game. That's only a necromancer spell and a priest of Aya spell.
I don't have that problem since it's not generating life force. It's just taking it from one to the other. So I can kind of live with that. But the missing link has a less point that they're not less atheist than you think. And I agree. In my take of Greyhawk, there are very few atheists. And magic users are probably some of the most prone to be atheist, I think, because they can wield enormous power without having to resort to a deity, and especially powerful mages and wizards of various kinds, they can probably feel so powerful that they don't need the protection of a deity, and some of them might even be so powerful that they can even feel like they can rival priests and stuff, so they don't need it. They can kind of exist with themselves.
I want Bill. I want Sashar Scorn's on Bill the Master Crafter. I want you to tell the story of what happened to Salen, the cleric necromancer, when he died before he got raised, and his original deity, and what happened afterwards. Put that in chat as we're discussing. So, whoops. We lost Tim for a second there.
Okay, but and we have David Big Mac. He has an interesting. Do any Greyhawk deities oppose necromancers have spells to permanently protect bodies from being raised?
Well, deities oppose necromancy spells.
Meaning, could there be a rivalry? Could some deities go after wizards or necromancers that kind of
that raise them? Remember, necromancers can't raise the dead; they can animate the undead, right? So, we're still in the realm of clerics for raises only.
I can see a lot of good deities going after necromancers.
And the number one is Gary created Saint Bane, and remember, I immediately threw Saint Bane in. Into my game, and Kayla, Time Lord's wife, is playing Tegan, which she is a specialty priest of Saint Bane in our game, and also the Undead Hunter is made exactly for that. So reanimate Tim. He'll be back. He probably had a disconnect or something, because Tim's got 2 classes he wants to discuss that he's created that we're in playtest right now, and Anna's played one of them, and Anna will be playing one again during GaryCon. So and you know,
same character.
Mac, I would say all the good deities don't like bodies being animated. And if you're Scott Benny created Saint Bane, but yes, and you did Gary, you did a wonderful job. I know we have collaborated a lot on Saint Bane. We've used 2. Also, Mike played one during Greyhawk Con as well. So note, I know there's one spell from Oriental Adventures I took. Okay, and that is, and you may all, Gribbly or whoever else was talking about it, it was called Reanimation. This spell was taken, I know I took from Oriental Adventures, and that was, I think I took Wall of Bones as well from there to create that. Plus created some spells of my own here too. But Reanimation allows a dead corpse to come to life, so it walks around with you before you get them raised. So, yeah, Tim locked his machine up, so there you are. Hey, I did the same thing. So,
updates going.
Yeah, so Reanimation is the spell. It's 4th level, I believe, or is it? Yeah, I believe it's 4th, where you can actually reanimate a corpse just to have it function with you. So I know that's one of 2 I took from there, or is that lower? It's 4th. Yes, 4th Reanimation. Wall of Bones, they're the 2. Yep, they're both from Oriental Adventures book. They're the only 2 I took.
Wall of Bones is, I love that. That's an awesome spell.
Yeah, I love that spell too, and I use that a lot of times. That's a great spell too.
Yeah.
So,
and almost anything that's not wall of iron or wall of force, anything that's not in the player's handbook, any wall of is always terrible.
Yeah.
It's always
but
horrible.
they're kind of cool. They're fantastic, and they kind of build into a D&D tradition with the wall spells.
Yes,
and
they
all
have
that.
Unseen
Wall of-
Servant. It's on my list for first level spells. They have Light, they have
Tentacles.
Shield, they have Enlarge, they have Burning Hands. They're some of the first level spells they have. Hold Portal.
Because
So.
what's better than a zombie? An enlarged zombie.
Yes. So that's the first class of the ones, and one of the oldest classes I've had. Now Alan Grohe has his based off of Len's Deathmaster, which is cool, and there's a lot of other Necromancer variances, and mine's not the right way for everyone to go. But go your own way with this. But there's plenty of spells. You just got to look. You have to look, and you got to always keep on. Hey, what's up, Green Lunar? You always got to just keep on adding and adding and adding to your to the list. Don't ever let it say that's it. Because I constantly add to the stuff. So what do you think about Necromancer School and Return to Tomb of Horrors? Well, So one of my favorite dungeon adventures of all time, if you remember this one, is School of Nekros, Nekros. It's in an early dungeon, and it's a brother and sister, if you recall. And I love that adventure. It's all Necromancers, and it's just cool. So Gribbly, I have no problem with a necromantic school, because that's what that place was a necromantic school as well. And there's all sorts of machinations going on there. So, and note if the group rampaging through the Vale of the Mage, a bad adventure, is a group of necromancers, right? So, yeah, they have fellow with the weapons in the background. Looks like he's Tim. Yes, Tim is hardcore. Yes, he's been through some stuff. Roman said, fellow with the weapons in the background looks like he's been through some stuff. Yeah, he has. Yes. 23 years in the military or whatever. All over the world. So thank you all for coming on. What a great crowd tonight. All right.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Wasn't time fun? I honestly,
yes,
very supportive in what I was doing.
Tim lived in Spain. Tim lived in Italy.
Yeah. Somebody has. Well, after my initial entry training, my first duty station was in Hawaii. But someone has to defend the Pacific, so might as well have been
someone
me.
has to defend Hawaii too. Yeah.
So I was forced to live on the North Shore of Oahu for 2 years.
Yes. Tim's hardcore, everyone. So just note he did his time, and he was not he did
light infantry in Hawaii. You get to see parts of Hawaii that nobody else sees, and then
Tim worked for NATO. Yeah, Tim taught at West Point. Tim's done a lot, so not giving away any secrets here. But
right. Well, then the Army sent me to Fort Drum, New York, 15 minutes from Canada. I think because they wanted the temperatures to average out at 60 degrees.
Yeah.
Because after 3 years in the mid 80s.
And that is where I did a lot of one-on-one adventuring. My wife and I would drive up to Watertown, New York, and Tim and I would just do Highport Skeeve one-on-one adventuring, and those where Lord Page came into play. You're all going to meet some Lord Page people during Greyhawk.
Try to have an Archmage who doesn't hardly use any major magic, because that attracts attention.
Yeah,
that's tough.
Very fun. So the second class we'll do before we go to a Tim one. It's up right now. Let's do this one. This one's kind of recent. And when I mean recent, 15 years? So I stole an idea which I don't like and turned it into something I like. And that is from this book, which gets awful reviews, by the way. And that is Wizards and Rogues of the Realms. And this is actually a Forgotten Realms supplement book, even though it looks like a class book, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, I missed that one, but now...
Yeah, because it's missable. But in the very back, they have these things called Shadow Walkers, or they call them Shadow Dancers, whatever the heck they call them. Thank you, Bill, about 15 years. By the way, Bill was on last week and gave all his... we did all of Bill's for last week's show. Hey, what's up, Asher? So, Wizards and Rogues of the Realm. In here are some abilities and I said, I don't want this to be a standalone class, but I love the Shadow Mage idea. There's even less Shadow spells than there are Necromancer spells. So if we look at this list, And remember, they can't cast off anything but off this list. And you can see, look at all the handwriting. I'm always adding. But look, first level has freaking 11 spells. So here's the Shadow Mage spell list, 7 levels. And there's all the different places that we've gotten them from. It's not focusing. I think I have it in there.
You don't need a lot of spells. You just need the right ones.
Yes, you need the right spells. So, and you can think of some of these. Spectral Hand is still in there. Spook is an illusion spell that fits in here. Sleep, Non-Detection, Wraith Form is a good one. Fear, Pass Wall, base ones. Shadow Door, Shadow Magic. Shadow and Demi-Shadow Magic are their damaging spells for the most part. Now, Relics and Rituals has a lesser version of shadow magic spells where you can shadow magic a fireball, right? And if they fail their save, they take full damage because they think it's real. That's a great illusion spell at high level. But they have one called Minor Shadow Evocation, and that's at 2nd level. So at 2nd level, they can shadow mages can Minor Shadow Evocation magic missiles or Melcesset arrows, which is kind of a cool thing.
They have summon shadows too, right?
Yeah, they can summon shadows, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. They have shadow skeletons.
Like shadows.
Yeah, all sorts of things. Now, this class has never been played as a solo class. All right? I don't want it as a solo class. It is meant as a specialty class. Darten Shadow Bolt, yes, that is a great spellbook spell. It is meant as a class to enhance the thieving class. All right, and here we go. So here's the Shadow Mage. The Shadow Mage has the same minimum ability, intelligence and dex instead of intelligence and wisdom like a necromancer. Same options as a necromancer in race. Alignments are any non-lawful. All right, and they have some penalties to experience tables. They all multi-class, and thief, bounty hunter, assassin. That's where it is. So they're using their spells to help them hide, to help them assassinate, to help them, take out someone. This is what this class is made for. Now you can have a straight Shadow Mage, but I like it as an enhancement to those others. This is the only one of the few exceptions where you're allowed to have multi-class as a human because of the class capability in my game. Witches are another exception, but actually witches are only half elves. But this is one of the rare occasions that I allow a multi-class option for a human. So what's the main driver for you to create?
I did not know that.
Yes. What? So the Gribbly, the main driver is threefold. I think I said it last week. Number one, I like to create new and interesting classes that I think there's gaps in the 1E, 2E system. Remember, there's prestige classes, and there's all sorts of directions you can go in 3.5 and 3.0. 2, I like to create variety to keep my group of players interested and let them role play other opportunities, which they love. And that is one of the reasons why the campaign's 41 years old, right? Number 3, and most importantly, I like to throw stuff that, like when I DM for the Geoff group, or people have no idea what's coming at them, right? Yeah. You don't know if it, right? And that's the great thing. Oh, it's a mage.
Gribbly also, remember, whenever Jay lets players use it, he lets bad guys use it too.
Absolutely.
That will happen.
Yeah.
That does happen.
Yeah. Yes. See, look, Dwayne knows Matt Shoutlane is and because Dwayne played him, is a Shadow Mage thief in the Narwhal group, and that's Tom's character. Yes, human Shadow Mage thief. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you there, Dwayne.
Well, the way I've used... Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Anna.
I was going to say, the way I've used Shadow Mages are as a sub-school of illusion. So Shadow Magic is a sub-school of illusion, so to speak, because illusionists can use Shadow Magic as part of illusions and stuff. So I said it's a speciality under illusion. So illusionists can be, if you super specialize, you can say that I'm specialized in Shadow Magic as a wizard or
I always thought they were kind of linked to the
I'll show you.
Not elemental plane of shadow, but like there's a connection with the plane of shadow.
Oh yeah. So the plane of shadow is So I'm actually now thinking about upgrading it as a school of magic, not a sub school.
They do draw from, and summon shadow is a perfect spell. So here, so Gallagher asked a good question. What makes these make these different than illusionists? They're specifically based on plane of shadow usage.
Yeah.
There are spells in here that cross over both and that are only Shadow Mage.
Yeah.
That there are some illusion spells, there are some mage spells, There's a few necromancy spells like Enervation.
Yeah.
But there's a whole slew, once again, in other publications that are not anywhere else but Shadow Mage. And I'm going to give you some examples. There's also abilities that I have taken from the Shadow Walker that they get. And I'm going to share some of them with you right now. And that is, here's the Shadow Walker. This is actually in the appendix of that book I showed, Wizards and Rogues of the Realm. You probably can get that cheap because no one really likes the book, but I love this. I love this. Okay, and there that is. And here are some of the abilities you can get for this. And I didn't put the highest level one in here just because we don't have one that's at high level. So night vision. Even if you're human, a Shadow Walker eyes are naturally attuned to darkness and are able to register. They can see in all but absolute darkness. So they get complete, including humans. So they can see in the dark. Unless it's a continual darkness, there's a spell called a Net of Shadows, which they can cast on themselves and fight in, and the other people are blind and they can see. All right, so that's one thing. Okay. 2, they can create a shadow aura around them, which increases their hide in shadows by 25%. That's an innate ability. I think they can do it 3 times per day. Yes, and so say they have a 42% chance to hide in shadows. As they're hiding, they can pull shadows from around them, and now that percent 67, and whoosh, right off. They're great stealthers. All right, and then here's the higher level version of one of these, and that is Shadow Cloak, and that makes their hiding shadows 50%. They get that at 8th level. All right, so yeah, and they are vulnerable to light-based attacks, but a lot of times no one knows that, so kind of a neat thing. But yeah, that is the combination of those two. Now, illusionists can be human or gnome. All right. Elves and half elves are not illusionists in 1E, 2E, and that was another reason why I went with the Shadow Mage, because it's it's kind of like a mage. Yeah. So elves can do that.
And they both get pretty good bonuses, like in the thief class for hiding shadows. They both get a bonus.
Yep. They do. So there's a lot of cool things that you can do. 32 months. Holy schmolies, that's unbelievable. That's where we are, man. 32nd month of
wow.
With Naz. Yeah, we're almost to 3 years. So here, let me give you a couple spells and that you're gonna love, that are Shadow Mage only. Malicious Images is the #1 spell that I can think of that will really make your day bad as a spellcaster.
It doesn't sound good.
It doesn't, and
it sounds really bad.
I think I gave them to. All right, so Malicious Images is what it does. If another mage has that mirror image spell on, the Shadow Mage can take those mirror images and turn them on the mage. Yes, so, I haven't done that to a player character in one of these new groups yet, but I'm close. Very, very, very close. That's all I'm going to say. Very, like maybe next weekend, close.
hijacking their protection spell is just.
How do you explain racial class restrictions usually? I just say it's based on the original idea behind where the game came from, and that was Lord of the Rings for the most part. That's just the way we do it, and we keep it to the Gygaxian. I don't want dwarf wizards running around. We've had this, I don't want halfling wizards running around.
Cultural.
Yeah, more cultural. I don't have a problem with remember, first edition, you weren't allowed to have clerics of dwarves, elves. Back in the day, they had NPCs only. We eliminated that. I hated that.
Right. I think because culturally they didn't adventure. They stayed in their temples and holy places, and only humans were the ones that were
kind of cloistered
going
clerics.
out to proselytize.
Yeah. Here's another one. It's called Battle Projection. It's 3rd level as well. So I'm standing at 60 feet away from the party, and I'm a Shadow Mage thief, and I want to sneak up on someone. I'm behind them. I cast Battle Projection. My shadow goes 60 feet out of my body and attacks, and I don't move. That's a cool spell too. That's a Shadow Mage only spell. Right, Casey? You're gonna have fun with this stuff on Saturday. So one of the reasons why I wanted to hold off. So this class has been created. There's a black tower in Altamira with no doors, no entrances, just a black cylinder in the one section of town. No one knows who's in it. No one knows whose it is.
Like the towers of Set and Conan?
Yes, kind of. But there's no windows, nothing. All these characters who were Shadow Mages in the one group got kind of summoned telepathically here. Says, come to Altamira and start working on your craft. And that's kind of where it started about 15 years ago in the campaign. And now we have like about, what do you say, Bill? We have about 7 to 8 Shadow Mages in the campaign, maybe a little more.
And luckily, when we get mad at them, we just go
just
to the
that
bounty
spell is
hunters
an
guild.
example, Canadian. It could be longer, but just that spell battle, yeah, it's pretty cool. Battle projection, yeah. Bill loves them. Bill has like a Shadow Mage Assassin, a Shadow Mage Bounty Hunter, and a Shadow Mage Thief. Bill is the par excellence of the Shadow Mage class.
Yeah, he's really good at blending those.
Yeah. That's one of his favorites. And once again, I'm not going to put something in the game that's imbalancing. They get all the negatives that an illusionist gets, but it's a cool difference, a little change up, and it's something that my guys like playing, and that's why I put it in there. See how our PCs kill each other. Not for a long time. We played an evil group once, and we had all sorts of carnage during it. And no, we don't have PCs going at each other really. Now there are some people.
Did you play an evil group?
Once or twice.
Are you talking about the one I did, or are you?
No, we played one. We played one without. See, Marco hasn't played in about a year. A mage thief. Her name's Alhana. She's an elf, and she was always character neutral. She was right on the border the whole time. And she killed a foxwoman little girl once, just outright killed her because she's going to turn into a foxwoman. There's nothing we can do about it. And that was the last alignment slip. So she's kind of evil. But sometimes it's just like is it Gormadok? I forget the one name of the elf in the Rogues Gallery. Oh, he sometimes is invited because he's useful on an adventure. Occasionally you get that, but I try to stay away from that. It's a heroic campaign for the most part. You have a player kill at each every other group. See, Asher, we never go there. I mean, on a fumble, we've had a fumble critical hit decapitate someone, but not an intentional kill. Lanolin, that's it. Yeah, it's like a Lanolin type deal. So thank you.
That's bad. That's not.
It's not our play style. It's not.
Yeah, it's not good for a fun game. I don't think.
Yeah. Gormadog was. Yeah, I couldn't. Yeah, thank you. Eric's. Who's the one that has the little wombat next to him that looks like a number hulk? Is that Eric's cousin? I always get them all confused out of that. So, but yeah, out of the Rogues Gallery. But Lanolin was evil. So just note this: my way is not right or wrong, but my way is my way in my campaign, and my players like the classes, and I like the variety, and it's. If I see something in 3rd edition I like, I pull it back. For a while I was like, yeah, thank you. I was right on that one. I was thinking about doing an alchemist, and I'm like, no, I just can't have a potion thrower all day long. I almost started writing up an alchemist class for like bombs, like that. Like Pathfinder Kingmaker gave me the idea because you have the gnome in that if you played it.
Yeah, but we have the a lot from Carl Sargent here. I think that alchemy is part of the South Province and Reldevin and that area. It's even part of the heraldry has like alchemical bombs on.
We have an alchemist, but I don't want to turn it into a player cast. It's more of a cloister class, right?
In the history of the way the game is there, it's kind of shallow.
Yeah,
I'll look up a Warhammer write-up on alchemists. They're very, very interesting, and there's lots of different types of things they can do.
Yeah.
If we want to play it that way, it makes them not be just a potion thrower.
Yeah, I've stayed away from them in my campaign, but I acknowledge that they are part of Greyhawk lore to a tiny little degree, so to speak.
Yeah, they fit in close to the Meister that Bill wrote up.
Yeah.
I think kind of similar.
Yeah, I'm just Coma's on, and Coma's one of the people I have not gotten to a response from the donation gift. Sorry, I was going to say I still have Casey's books, BK books left. So, once again, you have your options out there to create stuff, and you may want to go a completely different direction. You know, it's just, but it's okay. Think about like what is cool and what interests you. And I'm telling you right off the bat, like Von Moku was talking to me earlier on. What's up, Carlos? 18 months for Carlos. So as Carlos hops on here, okay, Koma, can you whisper me your address? I think you're in Hawaii. It shouldn't be any big deal sending it there, though. It's still considered U.S., so I will send that to you. All right, thank you. Real quick, as Carlos hops on, we'll put this out. Next week's Gabbin is creating Greyhawk content with very special guest Carlos Lysing. So there you go. So we got a real good one next week with Carlos coming on, and he's going to talk about.
You know something about that, right?
Yes, we're going to talk about creating your own content, and Carlos is maybe you give us some tricks of a trade. Yes. So there you go. That'll be next week. And the week after, wait till you see who's on the week after.
Yeah.
So, all right, there are the 2 spellcaster classes. I have 3 left, and they're all combative, but with some spell ability. So that is next Sunday night, Troy. Yes, it is. That is next Sunday night with Carlos. So absolutely. Carlos will be on as a very special guest, and it'll be Anna, Carlos, and me, and Tim maybe to say hello if he wants to talk about his barbarian game that Carlos plays in, right? Because Carlos plays a barbarian cleric in that, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
Yes, he does. So, and that'll be our crew for next week. Tim, which one do you want to talk about first? Let's talk about the scout because that's the first one you made.
Scout first.
Okay. So if Tim couldn't play on Thursday night, but Tim has a character in the Bloody Brethren First Shillik Pathfinders, and that character is named Finder, right? And so, Tim, why don't you explain this class, what you did?
Well, I think I actually was thinking about when I first started playing. I was quite young, like 9, and my dad was running it, and of course I had a Hobbit thief, and of course, you know, my dad wasn't too keen on training me to be a thinking along the lines of stealing stuff from people and having that as the main focus. So he basically called me like I was a scout. So, I'd kind of sneak up ahead of the party, and I would do some, some sneaky type stuff, but that's what he would call me. And then I came upon an old Dragon magazine article, and it was a scout character, and this was recently. And let me see, I forget what dragon it was. 161.
This is no more than this is 18 months ago. Because Finder, about a year and a half. Because Finder was in the Watcher's Towers, which is about maybe 2 years ago. Yeah.
Right.
So
because I don't know. Some of the conversation made me go nostalgic and think back, and I thought Scout, and then I came across it. I'm like, cool. And so I took the Scout article, which I liked 85% of it, and kind of revamped it, and then presented to Jay as a possibility, and he saw the playability of it, and that's where we went.
And we have one in my campaign, and that's it, and that is Finder. Now, note this: there are some things in here. Tim and I don't agree on everything. I don't use non-weapon proficiencies, so there are non-weapon proficiencies in here. Plus, I don't think that Tim, he has them on the thief table, which I do, but thieves that are, this is beyond a thief. So I have made it minus 10%, and if they get the 10% bonus, they get 0. So it's tougher. It's not 0 minus 10, and Tim doesn't even know that yet.
You're talking about experience points.
Yeah, experience points. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, which I've done with a lot of classes. But here's the scout. Just the basic discussion on the scout, and it can be a good aligned class. And then here is the ability table ability, right? That Tim has made up.
Yep. So they kind of, they have some of the thief abilities, climbing. They have a back protection thing, which is kind of similar to the barbarians, but not as good.
And sentinels.
Yeah, and detect illusion, because they're the ones that are supposed to be finding and the safe way to go. And the one thing in the article they had special tumbling and falling avoidance of damage, and I was like, not interested in that, and that's why I replaced that with a backstab bonus, because a scout is still a combatant. They still are somebody who's dangerous. Anyone who looks into any military and they're scouts, they're always in an elite sort of category. They're not your average. They're special, so they're better than average. And so having the additional damage seemed more appropriate to me. And there we go.
Yeah.
It's, they basically are kind of like, think of a ranger's thief sort of thing. They can track. They're not as good as rangers tracking outdoors, but they're better than rangers tracking indoors and then looking at other things.
Yeah, and they use light weapons. Absolutely.
Right.
And the best armor they can wear is elven chains. So it's usually they're wearing padded leather, hide, studded.
They got to be able to move. They
Yeah.
can't be. You can't hide when you're carrying. I mean,
Yeah.
longbows are great, but they're 6 feet long. You can't hide with a longbow.
Yeah.
You gotta.
Yep. So this is a class that and now you don't have a scout in the. They were all barbarians for the most part in that game, right? So
Right. I have a scout with my kids group.
Yep. So this is so there's a couple things here that I'm not 100% a fan of, but it's in playtest, and I like the way direction Tim's gone. So I'm going to let it roll. Right?
I'm gonna let it roll until I ruin
roll.
it for everybody.
But see, here's the thing. I have fun with this character. This character sets off every trap all the time because he fails a lot because he's always, I can do it, and he's always up
He's
front.
first level. He's low level.
No, you're
So,
6 now. You're 6th level.
you still find,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if I set the trap off, I protect everyone else. I found it.
Yeah. Now, here are Tim's non-weapon proficiencies he took from the Dungeoneers and Wilderness Survival Guide.
Right.
Which
Which
is-
was they also had that in the original article as
Yeah.
well.
So, and I just allow that to roll because, it's something that we haven't used. So,
Right.
so does every other thief with Trip's Trap. It's true, but it's much more comical in the game because Finder thinks he's the best of all time, and
He's the best scout in the game. That's
he's the
for
best
sure.
scout in the game, and so he's always out there. And if you ever watched the Watchers Towers, and this is going back a ways, and the Pomars is attacking them, he got his foot caught in a bear trap, a big in there, and he's like, help me, and they just all ignored him in there because they thought it was someone trying to trap them. So he was stuck in his cave the entire time.
I don't remember that.
You don't, because you weren't there, because I played him.
You played him. Okay, yeah. Whenever Jay's gonna play him, he's gonna always get hurt and embarrassed for sure.
Yes,
I do remember him falling in a pit trap, and
I'm trying. Thinking about what you said. There's about tech for, yes. So we're doing the best we can, and note that. So you've seen there's classes from Tim, there's classes from Bill, there's classes from other people that of course, it's a group team effort here. It's not just me being a dictator. I get final say on stuff, but it's, I will allow, I want the input from my players. I've nixed a lot of ideas, right? Alan has a Greyhawk Mage, and I wish I could have gotten Alan on, or I would have shared that class. The Greyhawk Mage is really cool, and maybe I'll share that in a future Magic User discussion. Yeah, go for it. Sure, go for it, Carlos. Of course. So, yeah, no problem. Thanks for asking. Let's talk next about this class. What's up, Hager? Wild Mages, of course, sure I have Wild Mages, but I didn't create them, and they're the minor changes. But yeah, I have Wild Mages. I have Elementalists too. I love Wild Mages. Oh my gosh, I love them. Yeah, great. So, and Anna remembers.
Yeah, we had a run-in with a.
Did you know a Miracle the Chaotic is a Wild Mage? The original zapping in the picture of Miracle the Chaotic.
Ooh.
He's a Wild Mage in that Paladin in Hell. His stats are in there. It turns out he's a Wild Mage. So I think a lot of you weren't around then. The first fundraiser finale was a Miracle the Chaotic they fought. And this was the highest level I've done in a long time. And a Miracle the Chaotic was about to blast everyone with a spell. And he's a Wild Mage. And he did it, and it surged and healed everyone.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And it happened to me a few adventures ago when I used a Wild Mage in a party, and the same thing happened. So yeah, absolutely really cool. So all right, next class. So I love them. I love the Wild Mages are awesome. Really, really a great idea. Yeah, Miracle. Well, I didn't have him as he was true character neutral in my game. Yeah, I didn't have him as evil either. All right, so this is not now. Casey is incorrect when he says this is taken from the Dwarven Defender. It's not. It's not a 3rd edition take. It was pre-3rd edition. It's called the Shield Thane. Okay, Shield Thane is like the paladin equivalent of a dwarf, something like it. The Shield Thane now is a class that yes, absolutely, yeah, cool. The Shield Thane is they use kite shields as dwarves, and they're using their shield as part of their body and as part to attack. They have great defensive capability. They can shield bash at a 7th level, and they also, this is the first use we ever did of the ability taunt that I have in my game. So
they're so insulting.
Yes, they are. This is, and they have a code just like Cavaliers have and Paladin Cavaliers have. You know, they have all sorts of really cool abilities, and like here's a list of some of them. So I notice I have taunt handwritten up there from all those years ago. I never added it in. They get their shield. They get an extra bonus on their shield at 1st. At 3rd, they get defensive stance. They can't do anything offensive. They go in. They basically go in super tank mode. All right, and they can't do anything but absorb damage at that point.
They're holding the ground.
Yes, at 5th they get a shield dodge like a monk, but they don't get it's halved or quartered. It's not halved or nothing. So basically, they can use their shield to. It's kind of like the shield in Dragon Slayer from the Dragon Breath,
Right.
if you remember that ability, right?
They're using the shield to mitigate the damage.
But at 7th, they get real nasty because they get shield bash as damage, and that's when they get another bonus attack. Now they have to take my 2-fisted fighting feat. 2-weapon fighting feat. I'm sorry, and improve 2-weapon fighting at that point in order to even use it, and they have to take it as proficiencies. Now let me remove. So there have been a lot of changes to this. Let me move this part 3. 9th level, they get more bonuses to their shield, so they get really great armor classes. 7th level, they deal out some damage. They get 1 single specialization slot, which doesn't increase their attacks. But if you're 3 every 2 in each hand at 7th, 2 then 4, 2 then 4, that's a lot of damage because their shield bash can stun. So I know this is kind of like that Shield Master in 3rd edition, right, in 3.5. That didn't exist when this character was made. Once again, they stole it from us, I guess. I don't know. But so here's some restrictions. If they don't fight with a shield, they're -2 to hit, -4 in armor class above and beyond not having the shield. They have to fight with a shield. They can't use 2-handed weapons. They can't use missile weapons except throwing weapons, right? They can throw like a Dwarven throwers because it's in their other one hand.
They're not allowed to use crossbows?
No, because they have a shield. They always have that shield out. They can't, they don't get missiles except for throwing hammers, throwing axes. That's their missiles.
Okay.
Yeah, they have to use kite shields. They have to tithe their income. They must defend the Dwarven community. You know, all that stuff. That the same thing a Cavalier gets. So, yeah, isn't it?
In a constricted tunnel, I mean, they would be able to seal it off pretty much and stop everybody coming through.
It's a great. It is the if you want to play a dwarf tank, it's the class to play a dwarf tank. That is what they are. Now here's a cool item that the crazy. I'm sorry calling him that, but the other Bill. And if you want to know who I'm talking about, here I will show you a picture of him. This is the other Bill, the one with the no just no. There, that's him. All right, so he created a Dwarven Hearthguard. I can't even take credit for this. It's a special shield, and it's got those spikes all over it, right? You know, if you watch Forge and Fire, they created a spike shield once, but it does 1 to 8 in the shield bash instead of 1 to 6. It's nasty. Think about that in your secondary hand, doing 1 to 8 points of damage with all the other pluses. It's a rare item.
Nasty shields and some actual medieval art showing dueling shields that had stuff on it that is nasty.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So it is a great, cool class, and I said I can't take 100% credit for it. Did a lot of edits to it to make it work in the game. So if you are playing and want to play a really cool, not your typical dwarf fighter, this is the one to play. Shield Thane. So, okay. Tim, you want to wait for your commando, or do you want to do your commando next, and then I'll do?
We can talk about it now. It's fine. Or... Yeah.
So I have two big ones still. I have the Inquisitor and the Undead Hunter still. Big ones, which are the most popular ones, I think. Well, Necromancer is pretty popular too, but I want to talk about those too. But why don't we talk, since Carlos is on a little, we'll talk how this character came to being and where you've used this character, Tim. Because Anna has played this character.
Yes.
Harris,
I after experimenting with the scout was missing teeth. I didn't feel it was, and having been in the military, there's always a professional, shock troops or something where they're not just armored up, charge into things. You always have your special people who are lighter, faster, and sneakier, and your special ops. So I wanted to make
mobility and sneakiness rather than firepower and
they get to where people don't think they're going to be attacked from, and then attack from surprise. And then get away fast. So I use that. Basically, it's like a ranger. Think Army Ranger. Don't think
thank you,
Rangers
Daka.
in
Thank you very
Strider Ranger.
Yep.
And so it's basically it's kind of like somebody who's not basically wise enough or high enough intelligence to be a ranger. This is definitely a great alternate career for them.
This is the teeth. This one's got a little more teeth in it than the scout does.
Yeah. So it is definitely a fighter. It's a fighter. But they're limited in the armor they're wearing because they have to be able to travel light and fast. But they have some elements of sneaking. They have some. They're not as good as obviously a thief or a scout in those abilities, but they don't have pick locks. But they don't have pickpockets but they do have open locks because they're trying to enter a place to be able to attack by surprise. And
thank you for the subs, Kenny. Thank you, Patrick.
And their hit point scheme and their experience point scheme is like a ranger, the ranger class. They can specialize like a fighter in weapons. Again, they also have to kind of pick weapons that aren't, not a lot of pole arms because that inhibits your ability to move fast and move quietly. And they also can get a bonus on damage like a backstab when they get attacked from surprise, which is the biggest deviation from the norm in this. And if anyone has ever seen videos of people who are suddenly attacked by somebody vicious by surprise, if a thief can attack somebody by surprise and get double damage, why can't a fighter who's specially trained to do it? Why can't they do it?
Yeah, look at Rambo First Blood.
Well, I see backstabbing as a natural specialization that fighters can pick if they want to. So yeah, it's like dealing out damage. So I see it as and that's the thing, meaning go from ranger to fighter and rogue. I see that as a continuum, meaning I could very well see a rogue that skip all the trap things and the lock picking and the picking pockets and stuff like that, and instead invest that in better fighting capability, meaning it's basically a fighter with sneak attack and a stealthy fighter that can sneak attack. And so I don't see that. I want to see that you can simply pick and choose the ones you want to have. And the ranger is the same way. It's a fighter, but instead of I sacrifice some of my weapon study, like heavy armor and stuff like that, and instead I learn nature and survival and stuff. So to me, I want to see them as one class where you can pick and choose, cherry pick. There is only so much you can learn, but you cherry pick the ones you want. And if you want to have like the classical rogue, then you skip half the fighter things and you go into learning all the skills that has to do with open locks and various stuff like that, and you get very weak on the fighting side. Or you can do the other side and go very, very heavy on the mini fighter. Then you put all the stuff in there. But then I see it natural. If you want to learn to kill someone from behind as a fighter, I see that as should be a natural thing that a fighter can learn.
I take it too. It's not just from behind; it's by surprise.
Yeah, exactly.
So
by
if you
surprise.
have total surprise, even if
Yeah.
You know, you
Mhm.
generate that moment of surprise, and
Yep.
even if it's not a backstab, you still get that initial hit.
Yeah, and also like in a lot of editions, it's you attack when you have flanking. So if you're like a fight and someone is you are on opposite side of someone, then you can use it. I think that's a natural for fighters. But then you might have to learn shields a little bit less, or some other stuff.
Right.
Meaning you
And
will get some
the-
other specialization that you will have to forfeit in order to get sneak attack. But I think
and the
that's
only
some-
shield they can carry is a buckler,
Yeah.
because it has to be
Mhm.
something they can put on their belt
Yeah.
and to
Mhm.
move with, because
Yeah.
they also, you know, can climb. And again, they're going to be the ones who climb up into that building that no one thought they could get in,
Yeah.
or climb up the cliff face that
Mhm.
people didn't think they could climb up to attack
Yep.
from an area,
Mhm.
which is exactly what happened in last time
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
played a commando.
Mhm.
They scaled a cliff
Oh, yeah.
nobody thought
Yeah.
that would be attacked from. Who would ever come
Mhm.
up this way?
Yep.
So
And I can see you can have like the commando is a cool version of that, but the way I think I will implement it, it's saying that you might want to learn skip the climbing bit and say, I just want to be a general thug, like a fighter who can sneak attack, or I want to be very stealthy and do climbing and all that, and very good at attacking from surprise or flanking, but very weak when meeting an enemy head on, so to speak, and skip most of the fighter bits. Yeah.
the armor limitations are going to matter more, at least in my game, because I'm modifying crits by the type
Uh-huh.
of armor you're wearing.
Oh, okay.
So if
Yeah.
you're wearing full plate, you're automatically going to reduce the level of the crit automatically, because you're
Yeah.
in full plate. Armor work. That's why guys spent
Yeah.
fortunes and fortunes on full plate.
Mhm.
And, you know, so the lighter more your armor, the more likely, if you are critted, the more likely you're going to suffer something more serious, which is
Yeah.
totally, you know, parallels the real world.
Mhm.
Right.
Same thing for types of helmets.
So, just so everyone knows, I have 0 commandos in my game, and it's probably going to
Yeah.
stay that way because I think this is a
Okay.
little too powerful. First off, their backstab's better than a thief.
Yeah, well, they're fighters,
I got it, but you know, they're
yeah,
getting
the way
they're
I
getting
would have
times
it-
5 at 11th.
but only
yeah.
if they surprise.
Yeah.
So I same thing with thieves for the
Yeah.
most part.
But the way I would do it, I would simply say that sneak attack or backstabbing, that will be a thing that you can learn,
Right.
so to speak. And if you sacrifice something else, anyone can learn it basically. Well, that has
Well,
basic
we did
fighting
it
training and stuff.
In the game we played, there was only one time
Yeah.
that there was a chance to do it, and the commando was invisible and hiding behind, you know, an enlarged barbarian.
Yeah.
And so she got one free swing to put a little extra on the bad guy. So one time.
Yeah.
And this is not a bad thing to note that I think this will stay in Tim's City State game. I don't think I want to go here with this. I think it's a little too much overpowered and too tactically militarily for our fantasy style game, but that's okay because it'll go into Tim's City State and that's fine, and
Yeah.
we'll have commandos attacking us.
My kids' game has a couple of them.
Yeah, yes. And once again, they
it's
have
it's a cool class.
non-proficiency
I really like
proficiencies.
it. I like the kind of the sneaky fighter that skip the kind of thieving bits and you go in to be a stealthy fighter. I think that's a natural type of character
But
that should be able
in
to.
a toe-to-toe against
Yeah.
heavily armored people, they're going to be at a disadvantage.
Yeah. Hmm.
And I mean, if everyone's in normal stuff without magic items, these guys are going to definitely be at a significant disadvantage toe-to-toe with a standard fighter.
Yeah, but put them in the dark, coming
Right.
from behind, so
Right.
to speak.
Right.
But if you're a
yeah.
standard
Mhm.
fighter at your campsite and they get
Mhm.
to sneak up on you,
Yeah.
you're at a big disadvantage.
Exactly, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't want to cross that realm between the thieves having that ability and the fighters, and that's just
Yeah.
where
That's-
just where I am, which
Yeah.
is cool.
But that's the way classes work in your game.
Yes.
And classes
Yes.
have different meaning mechanically and in game depending on the style you're playing, so to speak. And
Yeah.
that's I
it's,
think very
like you
important.
said,
This
and
is also it
different
also
players,
is helpful.
different DMs, different games.
Yep.
Yeah, it also there are a lot of features to I use the non-combat proficiencies, and there's a lot of features that
Yep.
because it's it's a slightly different style. It's not so
Yeah.
miniature based, that there's a little bit more fluidity to a lot of different things that you can do, which you can't do when you're doing a big miniature battle. So,
Mhm. Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly, Carlos, and that is completely why I know we'll see these commandos in the city state game, which I play in, which is fine. Tim's DMing it,
Yeah.
but the scout is get my wholehearted approval because it's a thief
Yeah.
subclass.
Yeah.
So
I think.
yeah.
Yeah. I
So.
think
Well,
Carlos
I
is
think
onto something, saying that this is a class that ex-military can enjoy.
Michael,
So
I think the scout.
Tim
Yeah,
and me, we can enjoy
it's
the
modified
commando
though.
class because we can see
Yes.
the analog. I might want to give it another more fantasy name than the commando, but the class with its features and stuff is something that I'm.
Yeah, in Warhammer they had like a light skirmisher commando, and they
exactly. You
they
can
used
call
the
it
K instead of a C.
Yeah. I might call it a skirmisher or something like that, or something. Yeah,
That's why I have light fighter as in the parentheses, the light fighter.
Yeah, but in an old school game, I definitely want to see a class with this type of features. Yes, definitely. Yeah, in a more modern like a PF1 or PF2 or later 3.5, you can give feats and stuff that you can tweak either a rogue or a fighter into getting this role. But in an old school game, I definitely want to see a class like this. I think it's a spot on. Yeah.
So
and then the exact tweaking is another matter, but I want to see a class that is somewhere between the fighter and the rogue with a little bit of ranger put in, so to speak. Yeah.
I'm going to make Chuck Cumbo a little upset here. All right. And note that Tim has Dark Hand Headhunt during GaryCon, and it's Saturday morning of that great Saturday we have at like 8 a.m. East, 8 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Eastern. And Anna's playing in it. Carlos is playing in it. Will's playing in it. Who am I missing? Gitano, is Gitano in that?
Yep.
Gitano Lafavi's in it, and Stetson.
Stetson and Matt Lazinski.
All right. There is one. See, Johnny Dangerously moment. One open sign-up seat for that spot. It's in TTE. Just note. There are 6 for the joust now, by the way. I upped it from 4 to 6, so there you go. So, but there's one spot open in that game. So, just so you're aware. So the commando will be cool for that, and you get to see it played again.
Right, and I mean,
that one's all barbarians.
I use the commando as they're not just on their own; they're part of they receive training that is special, and they, in this case, they usually function helping people who are maybe need some assistance, some advice. So they have advisors that are helping the indigenous people to resist or fight. In this case, they're in the Barons resisting the IU's troops. So there's a command structure there, and they're just not freewheeling it all the time. They're under
So note that
how you control them.
Note that like I said, I really love the scout changes that Tim made and has put that in. And if someone else wants to play it besides Finder, I will consider it.
Maybe
Absolutely.
If I soften up the commando, Jay will just come around.
We shall see. All right,
I have to drop the backstab. That would definitely be a big feature.
Here is. Let's go to the 2. I know it's scrolling through and I can't stop it. Here are the 2 big classes. The last 2. And then we got, by the time we get these done, we may be close to shout out announcements. Everyone has played Baldur's Gate 2. If you haven't, it's the best PC game of all time, my opinion. All right, everyone knows who this guy is, Keldorn Firecam, right? Everyone knows Keldorn is kind of the Inquisitor subclass that they kind of made up in that Baldur's Gate 2 game and had these cool abilities. And I said, I'm going to make this into a playable 1E, 2E class for me because I love this idea. So that's what I did. It was wonderful. And this guy threw his own wife in prison during Baldur's Gate 2, okay? Just note that. This guy is not messing around.
Sounds like a Warhammer Inquisitor.
Isn't that funny? See, that's why when you try and steal your own party stuff and you try and kill, that's what happens, man. You get an arrow in the freaking Achilles. Yeah, you got to be careful.
Steal from the party. There's going to be a party member kill.
Yeah. This looks like Tim. There's no scars on Tim's face. There's scars on other parts of his body, but we won't go there. So, when he was in captivity. Just kidding. Right, Tim?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kidding. He was never captured. He wouldn't allow himself to be captured. The Inquisitor. This class is in here. It's in Horror in the Holes. Okay, there's Desmond. Desmond is the PC in here. That is the Inquisitor. So you can play one right in Horror in the Holes. He's written up completely. The Inquisitor is a subclass of Paladin. Now note this. I have Paladins that are fighters, the original first edition of Paladin, and I have Paladins that are Cavaliers, which are the Unearthed Arcana Dragon 72 subs. So there are two different types of Paladin in my game. Yes, I prefer the original fighter Paladin, but you can be a Cavalier Paladin if you so choose. Okay, Sir Reginald's a Cavalier Paladin. Yes, he is. All right. So here's their stats. They have a table that's worse than Paladin. It's minus 5%, so they get 5% bonus, kind of like a specialty priest will get if they make the normal stats. Weapons specialization is all this basically the same as a Paladin. They don't get multiple attacks, but they get +1 to +2, and they can get like a specialization. They get pluses to hit with a missile weapon, or they can do 2 separate individual. They can't double. So that's in my game, same as a fighter Paladin. All right. Now here's the.
I just saw what Big Mac wrote. No one expected the Greyhawk Inquisitor. That's a Monty Python skit.
Yes, the Greyhawk. This is a great class for Greyhawk because they are not lawful good only. Everyone, lawful good, lawful neutral, lawful evil. They are lawful. So
they will ferret out the heresy.
Truth will set you free. They will get to the truth one way or another. And Carlos does a wonderful job. And I think in here, talking about Desmond, I think the very last line Carlos puts in is all talk eventually. So here's a limited spell ability they get. If they're good, they still get innate protection from evil, detect evil. And if they're neutral, chaos against evil, good. There you go. So imagine a Hexter Inquisitor. Imagine a Foltis Inquisitor, lawful neutral or lawful. Imagine that. Perfect, right? I do a lot of Foltis lawful neutral Inquisitors fighting chaos. They lay on hands. They're immune to charm. Okay, instead of
and they have no charm.
Yeah, exactly. They don't
understand the concept.
They don't get clerical spells like the normal paladins. They get 3 main casting abilities. One of them, the big one, is Dispel Magic, which starts at 4th. So when they cast this, they are the anti-mages. They hate mages. They hate buffs. They're going to eliminate buffs from everyone. They cast Dispel Magic in their 4th level. It goes off at 8th level of ability. So imagine what that does to all the buffs.
Buffs are kind of like a lie, aren't they?
Yes, exactly.
They're lying on everyone with these fake abilities that must be done away with.
Absolutely.
So that justice and truth reign supreme. I should make an Inquisitor. I must do so immediately.
Thought you had one.
I do, I think.
Yes. They also get Detect Lie, which is the clerical spell. Perfect. And then when they turn, then starting at 5th level, I'm sorry, those were gained at once per day at 4. They get that at first. Dispel Magic and Detect Lie. At True Sight, which is the 5th level, at 5th they get that. Now, here's a trivia question. I don't want you answering it, Tim. Tell me, party out there, what the difference between the spell True Seeing, the clerical version, and True Sight, the illusionist version, is. Let's see who gets it. There is a difference. What is the difference between the spell True Seeing and True Sight? And it's silent.
Yeah.
Wow. I got you all stumped, or they don't care.
Yep. They're all
looking up at the first edition books.
That's too long ago for me.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
There's one difference. No. True Seeing tells you everything you want to know about someone, including alignment. Okay. Boop, boop, boop. You see LG above their head, CG, CN. True Sight.
Seeing the truth.
does everything except detect the alignment of the person in the area you're true sighted.
Later editions don't, neither would give you the alignments.
But true seeing, the original clerical version, does. So a true sight does not. So that's why they get. I didn't want to go that one step far. They get true sight instead of true seeing. So there you go.
Well, I think later versions probably change it because they don't want to judge people. But if you're an Inquisitor, judgment is what it's all about.
Yeah. So that's the difference.
Yeah. I more or less abolished the no alignment spell. You can detect evil and you can detect good, but no alignment, like everybody has like a stamped, like I'm LG or and whatever. I cannot skip that bit. It's
well, for the edition you're playing, I understand that too. I do.
It's kind of It's alignment is good and evil is definitely that's the strongest force, and chaos and law is there too, but it's not as strong, so to speak, because the evil good has to do with the life itself, life and meaning positive, negative energy. Kind of ties into in the extension of it, so to speak.
So the Inquisitor is great. I love. Oh, here it is. I kept it. Oh, I did do this. So this is in Carlos's Horror in the Hools, and he added this. He added this little blurb about the class. It's a variant of the Paladin sharing most of its traits, whereas the Paladin's role in their respective faith is to serve as the worldly sword and shield of their patron deity. The Inquisitor is employed by given faith to ferret out the truth from its enemies. Trained to see through all manner of falsehoods and subterfuge, the Inquisitor is the tool by the leaders of the faith to gain wisdom from those who would conceal it by any means necessary. It's brilliantly written.
The enemy can be within your group.
Yes.
You may have to ferret out from within.
Brilliantly written, Carlos. And good night, Romans. I know you're off in the UK. Thank you for it so very much. So we have a ton of Inquisitors in our game. I want to point out one that you will meet this Saturday night on our Saturday night special. And let me click that so you see. And that is great artist and player from Geoff, Jose Ortiz. And he has Garahith the Long Arm. And look at the artwork for this character. And he's an Inquisitor. Lawful good. He plays him wonderfully. He saved the party from the Ayuz priests and the Ayuzians that one time. So, wonderful, wonderful play of the character, and he's an outsider playing in the game and loves the class. I'm so happy that he's playing Inquisitor. We have a lot of Inquisitors in our campaign. I probably say 15 Inquisitors in the campaign. Yeah.
Well, I mean, being that the adventures are often investigatory in nature, they kind of are almost more fitting in a lot of ways, I think, than just your standard Paladin. Right?
Yeah. It's different. If you want to play something that's different than a Paladin, but has some of the abilities of a Paladin, there you go.
Or didn't have the 17 charisma.
Oh, they have to have the charisma too.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. See, look, charisma 17, their subclass. Sorry. Yes. But look at the other stats. Come on, the other stats are mundane.
Ask you some questions.
The other stats are very mundane. They are. So you gotta have one high stat for that. So that's the Inquisitor. Now, the next one, I had the honor of having this.
Let me ask you a question.
The last class to discuss tonight, at least before we throw out some other questions, I had the honor of having that in Earth Journal 33. So you can go right into this Earth Journal to find this class published. Okay? So, and that is, and I know Gary's been waiting for this one, so here we go, and that's where you can find this class. And let me scroll down here, and that is, here's the Undead Hunter, spice up your old Paladins. So, I looked at how can I further make, and I don't like the plethora of Paladins articles, cool, but I don't want the ones for all the alignments. What can I make? And I was debating between a demon / devil / infernal hunter and an undead hunter. And I'm like, the demon devil infernal hunter is not going to see any of them at lower levels, right? But
it better not.
Yes. But the undead hunter is going to see him as it progresses up and up and up and up and up. And I wanted to. I'm not saying they're Van Helsing like, but they have some abilities that are close to, similar. So this class was completely made up from scratch by me, and here we go. So here's the requirements of the Undead Hunter. It's a subclass of Paladin, just like the Inquisitor is. The alignments are any good and lawful neutral. They're my alignments I allow for this Undead Hunter. I want different ethos types, which means they make Fultus makes a lawful neutral Fultus, Tritherian. I want to go beyond just the lawful good aspect of this, and there's different reasons that you could be an Undead Hunter.
Well,
so
you could see some sort of cult of death in the afterlife as a natural occurrence in life, and it is death. And anyone calling people or messing with that is, is negative to him. So a lawful neutral who just wants the normal cycle of life to reign supreme could easily be somebody who'd want to go and stop people meddling with the dead.
Right. Now, they get some of the same abilities as an Inquisitor does for specialization. They can do 2. They have 1 required weapon. Maybe I stole this from Von Helsing, but they need to use heavy or light crossbow as one of their weapons. So they do like using the crossbows. So they like using those big fat stakes shooting out of their crossbows was my idea for this. I know it's a little cheesy, but hey, whatever. It's different.
What's better than a crossbow bolt?
Exactly.
A big fat crossbow bolt.
Exactly. So I like the crossbow idea just because it's different than a normal Paladin or the Inquisitor. Hey, give us something different, and that's what I did here. Now, their abilities are a little different, so that they get detect undead and protection from undead. They don't get protection from evil at all. So skeletons are -2 to hit them because they're neutral. So neutral undead all undead are -2 to hit this character, this class. They're immune to disease. They retain the same turning ability that a Paladin gets. They get the lay on hands. When they fight undead, they get multiple attacks with the weapon they're specialized in. So if they're 7th level and they're fighting a vampire with a sword and they're specialized with it, they go from 3/2 to 2/1. They also, against undead, their crossbow bolts are keen in my game, which is crit on a 19 or 20 instead of crit on a 20. So that's another benefit of using your crossbow. They get the smite undead ability. So 3 times per day, they can, when declare on the first attack, they can 1 point per level bonus damage on the undead. And when they get turned to 9th, they're immune to stat and level draining, which is a really powerful ability. I know, but we've only had, I think the highest level Undead Hunter in the game is 8th. So I don't think anyone's gotten there yet to 9th level in the game. I think we have 6 to 8 Undead Hunters. So here's the innate spell abilities.
Wow, that seems fun. That looks good.
It's fun, man. And they don't get spells. They get these innate abilities. Right? So it got Gary Julian's approval too. Gary really likes this. So I know I did it by right with Gary saying I love the class. So thank you, Gary. Yeah, man. Carlos, I'm glad you're working this week, so you're not working next week. So when you're on the show, that's a good thing. The spell invisibility to undead, Sun Scorch, hold undead at free action, which is great against ghouls. Sunrise or Searing Light. Sunrise is ripped off from Lathander and Face and Avatars, and Searing Light is Player's Handbook 3. At 6, Cloak of Bravery or Negative Prime Protection. These are all once per day abilities. 7th, Protection from Undead 10-foot radius to help your party. 8th, Soul Searing Orb. I think that's in Arcana. And the most powerful of them all at 9th, another one ripped off from Lathander and Face and Avatars. I love stealing from Forgotten Realms to make our game better when I can. False Dawn. So yes. Which also especially Priests of Palor and Fultus can get that. Sunrise and False Dawn, they can get those too as well. So, and there you go. Note the following: intelligent undead will sense the undead hunter's presence and will attempt to slaughter this character as quickly as possible. There you go. So being an undead hunter is not fun, especially around undead.
Yeah.
And they can hold their own as a regular paladin would against other creatures, but their undead's their specialty.
Yeah.
So, hey Amy, what's going on? I love the class. and I'm glad I made it, and everyone likes it, and that's good to hear. And note that there's only one character in my campaign that, and I want to shout out to Will, William Henry Dvorak. I don't think he's on, but I want to shout out to Will the following, and that is I have one character in my campaign who has 2 pictures of herself, the only one that does, and I keep on. Whoops, I just did that. Hold on, I just nixed.
No problem.
Give me a second. That was me.
Way back again.
Yeah. All right. And that is the following. So Will made a picture of Samantha Craigspone for the Earth Journal, and that was a picture of her, black and white. And then Samantha finally has, and you've probably seen it scrolling, because I use her. Oh, I can't throw that up. She has a portrait workshop video vid pic, so she has 2. But yeah, that was like in 41 years. Will, thank you. It says this was the first portrait of a character in my campaign I've ever had, if you can believe that. Art drawn. It took that long because
you had started drawing 40 years ago, Jay. You'd pretty good by now.
No,
exactly.
I am an awful artist.
Takes a while, but everyone can get there.
Terrible. I'm terrible, and that side of my brain doesn't function at all.
Mind to it enough. Yeah.
So we've gone over 7 classes. We've gone over Inquisitor, Undead Hunter, Shield Dane, Necromancer, Shadow Mage, Scout, and Commando. Are there any Yes, there. Of course, there. Ranger Harley. Of course, there are anti-paladins. It is not on this list because it's NPC only. All right. I love anti-paladins. Tim loves anti-paladins.
Yeah.
Dragon 39 or 38, whichever one it is one of the best dragons of all time. Good got you down. Try this
for evil.
We love anti-paladins. Absolutely. They can backstab too, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the answer to that is yes.
Get bonuses when they're trampling helpless people.
Whoever asked earlier about the witch, I have to wait on the witch. Has its own book. The witch has a lot of stuff from the Dragon magazine article, but a lot of the witch I took from Timothy Brannan's, and everyone knows Timothy Brannan. He has a huge blog. Timothy Brannan's Witch that he did for first edition. He's done one for 5th. He's done one for every edition. His book. You can find it on Drive-Thru RPG. I'm trying to get Timothy Brannan on. Yeah, anti-paladins are, Gary, very Greyhawk, just like Skeletal Warriors, just like your favorite, Death Knights. They are very, very Greyhawk. So once I get Timothy Brannan on the show, we will go over the witch class because I basically use his book verbatim almost and add some stuff in from the others. But the witch is a cool class. It's not my own creation. So
I was looking at a lot of the Judges Guild stuff, the older stuff, and the Dragon magazine article, and Timothy Brannan's Witch. I like the idea of keeping all the different flavors because they represent. You could have different kinds of witches and different, cultural.
He's got like 5 different in that book.
Deity and ways they kind of all like to be different, and you never know. You never know what kind.
Yep, absolutely.
I like them. They're good.
So note that in this book, you got a bunch of my classes in here, and in particular the ones we discussed tonight. The Necromancers in here, and the Inquisitors in here. You can get the Undead Hunter yes, thank you, Tim, and thank you, Carl. Look at that. You got a nice note from Carlos on there, too. You can get the Undead Hunter verbatim with some descriptions on 2 characters, Samantha and Liesel Abdalis, two Undead Hunters. That article is in Earth Journal 33, so you can go there and get that class as well. So Anna, I know you're the way you use Pathfinder 2, you're out of classes, but you don't do you do all. You can pick and choose from whatever.
Yeah.
But,
for instance, the Undead Hunter. I haven't detailed it yet, but I'm planning on so you can choose a speciality to fight undead. So and what I'm leaning towards, at least trying, is to let, because you can't crit undeads in stuff. So that means because they don't have a critical. They're kind of immune. They don't have sensitive body anatomy the way living creatures have. But I'm thinking having that, if you have the ability, you know enough about undead so you can crit them. That's one of the abilities I think I will give to a kind of an undead, and that will probably be an archetype or a prestige class that
Cool.
that clerics, fighters, and champions can take, so to speak, in order to learn to fight undeads very, very effectively. And one of the things I think I will introduce, they will get special knowledge about undeads, meaning they can identify them easier, and they know stuff about them, so to speak. So they get like knowledge undead as a special feature in their knowledge, so to speak. And they also will get the ability to crit undead. That's what I think will be the key features coming from a specialization in fighting undead.
That's
and
awesome.
there will be an archetype that basically anyone who fights can do it, but it will probably be the most best for natural will be for champions to do it, like paladins, and also for some fighters and clerics will be kind of a natural to take too. If you want to go up against undead, then that will give you the basic tools for it, so to speak. So and you will get an ability on top of others, and that will be instead of getting some other special ability, so to speak. So you can sharpen your character in either be more generic or you can be more specific. So and to take an undead special feat, so to speak, or an archetype, that will be a series of things that will be one, I think, a really cool one, because I like the idea. The same way I like to have some who can be hunting fiends or demons. It depends on how generic you want to have. Saying that, should they be able to hunt all the evil ones from the lower planes, or should they be specialized enough so only demons or only the devils or something? So you have to kind of.
I almost went there instead of Undead Hunter with a demon / Infernal Hunter. I almost went there.
Yeah, in PF1 that was the dragon specialist, the undead specialist, the demon, the devil specialist, and so on. But I'm thinking about doing it like it more generic, so you can fight creatures from the lower planes as one, and then you can even specialize even further to say that not only that I'm a specialized devil hunter or demon hunter. So, but that might be to specialize a bit narrow.
Well, that could be one of those. Once the undead hunter has reached 9th level, and that might be one of the things they can graduate to focusing on. And since regular undead is just so boring now, they can go for this.
Yeah, but they are, because you always have, as Gary Julian points out, you have Death Knights, you have Skeletal Warriors, you have Animuses, you have the great thing about Greyhawk, you have these monster, massive, high-level undead.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And plus, it goes hand in hand with the Saint Bane specialty priest I created for Gary's elevation for Saint Bane to demigod status. But it's
I think it will be it will be cool to I definitely I'm going to incorporate it, and then exactly how mechanically it will be done, because it was in PF1, and there is no official rules for it in PF2 yet, but I'm sure it will come. But my plan is to probably attack it saying that they get a crit ability against undeads. So yeah.
So Thunder's got a good question in chat. And that is, I have 6 elementalists. I have air, earth, fire, water. They have all their own unique spell lists, but they can use.
Oh, that is, that elementalist is another.
It's awesome.
Given.
I love elementalists. They have their own. They can use general spells like light, detect magic. Now, they can't use a spell I have in the game called Force Ball, and I've been trying to take away Magic Missile from them for years, but Bill and all of them go, no. I'm trying still to remove Magic Missile from the Elementalists.
Well, they can use Acid Splash and Fire whatever and stuff like that.
I've
so,
seen a lot of
like a Water Elementalist can't cast Fireball. can't.
No,
Yes,
but
water ball.
you mean that there's specific elements for there? Okay, well,
Yeah.
I haven't gone that far, so
Yeah.
to speak, but I've gone so I've had elementalists.
Yeah, where they can get
that
specially.
no elemental,
Yeah,
they
no,
don't
my list
specialize in one of the
lists.
4 elementals. They are
Yeah.
simply instead of knowing divination and
Right.
and transmutation and abjurations and stuff like that, they are flash bang. Yeah, they can do water magic and
Yeah, we've
fire
taken it one
magic
step
and
further.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, I
I
haven't gone that far yet.
So we have the elemental evil cult is perfect. So we have 6. We have air, earth, fire, water. We have quasi.
Oh, so you moved into the smoke and the
Well, yes,
stuff like
quasi's
that.
lightning,
Yeah.
radiance, magnetism. That's the quasi sphere. So they are
okay.
really nasty against undead.
But don't you use like magma and smoke
Para
that's para. Okay. Yeah.
is magma, smoke,
Yeah.
salt,
Yeah.
steam, all the crap that doesn't slime, all the crap that doesn't fit anywhere. So
Yeah. Oh, but that will be a slime specialist. That's awesome. That's a wizard I would definitely want to.
all sorts
have
of
like
really
a-
cool
a
spells with the
slime
power.
ooze specialist.
So-
That's kind of a
Yeah.
paramentalists. Yeah.
Salt. Imagine getting hit with a salt ball, or getting there's actually a real cool
Yeah.
spell they have called Healing Touch of Salt, where it hurts real bad, but they actually can heal with it.
Yeah. The spray of sodium.
Spray of sodium, yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. You made that one up yourself. So
Yeah.
Tim created a lot of spells for my para elementalist because one of his skeeved kids made Crystal Ion, who the ones that fled. Remember the 2 that fled Hardby, the brother and sister Anna during that fight where they had the band on the beach and
Yeah.
they blew up the whole band. Right? She was a para elementalist, Crystal Ion. Now they've changed her name and they're coming back, and her name is.
Change their name and
to
body.
Liz, to
No, not
Elizabeth
necessarily,
Borden.
Jay. I think
What?
you're going to take it too far. I can't trust you. I can't play along with you because you just take it too far.
So I have 6, and you can take thunder, you could take ice down further, or you can make slime down further. But I like having spell lists where there's a variety, and the limit is 8 per level. Okay.
Yeah.
So air was the toughest to do, but I found a bunch. There was an article in a dragon that added a bunch of air spells. Air was the toughest of the base 4. Quasi was easy to do. Quasi, there's a ton of lightning spells in the Great Net Spellbook. Quasi was simple, and para was easy too because there was all these spells that don't fit anywhere.
Yeah.
So,
But do all these classes need to? How about balancing? I was thinking, since we have like an air elementalist, it will be very hard to make them as versatile or as tough or like as
They're not
power.
versatile.
oh no,
Okay.
no, that's not true. So there are spells, and I don't have the air elementalist binder up here, but there are air spells that are awesome.
Mhm.
There
Yeah.
are great spells. Like there's
Well, what I mean is,
Yeah.
they're focused. They're specialists in their area,
Mhm.
Yep.
and there's other areas they just can't go into.
Yeah, but the interesting thing is that I'm so, especially now I'm reading old dragons and stuff, and they say, oh, we can't allow that because that will unbalance the game. And I was thinking, the game isn't balanced to begin with, meaning the wizards are way more powerful and high level than any of the other characters
As they should be.
classes.
elementalists are
Yeah.
combat mages in my game, and they actually
Are-
get
yeah.
they get die 4+1
Mhm.
on hit points to start, and they have but remember, elementalists are the ones the archers are shooting at. Right, the elementalists go down first because people see them, and especially the fire ones, they're burning everything, or
Yeah.
the earth elementalists I think are the nastiest because they
Okay.
get all sorts of enhancements. They get stone skin, all sorts of enhancements to
Mm-hmm.
spells and to defenses, and they cast this ball of iron that can crush your limbs. All sorts of cool things.
Whatever
Yeah,
and whatever
so-
the players have, the bad guys can have.
Exactly.
Well, yeah.
Exactly. And you're right.
So
You're right.
that's
So
the
Gary,
auto balance. That's the auto balance.
Tim has airbenders in his game for his kids. He made up those classes. Right.
And actually, I've reclassified them for
Yeah.
more less obvious. Elemental adepts.
Yeah. Coma.
And
Metal
they've already
elementalist
been-
is Earth. Metal is
Yeah.
Earth.
That will be Earth. Yeah.
Elemental
Yeah.
adepts, and they've already actually
They
been
got
in
great
play,
spells.
and nobody knew.
I love the Earth elementals. And by the way, I give a lot of dark elves to Earth elementalists. A lot of them. So it's a nasty thing when you come up against a dark elf male Earth elementalist. bad in my game, but it's fun. So,
Yeah.
well, you know what? Maybe I'll get Tim to put that in to submit something and see what happens there, because
Yeah.
once it's a compilation of all of us. So think about this. So I've had Tim with classes, Bill the Master Crafter with 3 classes, the Crazy Bill with 1 class. Alan's got multiple things, including the Greyhawk Mage that he created, which is a cool class where you actually go under one of the Circle of 8 members or Liam or someone else, and you specialize in their spells. So we got all sorts of cool things, and in addition to all the other stuff I've made. So, and once again, there's the list of all the classes, but that doesn't. So it says Elementalist, but there's 6 other Elementalist classes in there. It says Specialty Priest, but there's 43 Specialty Priests. So, oh, there he is. There he goes. He has it there. So. We can do that, Gary. Do a post fest on class and class features. So, like I said, we're a wealth of knowledge. Now, I've been talking to a lot of people. I will never share everything with anyone, but I will get you going in the right direction. So, if you want to know about especially priests, I'll give you a couple of them, and then you can make your. It's create your own, right? It's Greyhawk is make your own world, make it your own. But hopefully one day, Carlos, soon we can do another one of these with some more custom classes in it and publish it. So, you know, this is only, as you see, that's JS1. So it's the first, hopefully. And plus, it's what the one of his largest sellers ever, not counting fundraiser ones. So it's sold out twice, and they should be getting more in. So it's going very, very well. Thank you for the wonderful support for our Horror in the Holes. So
I've been, well, this has been interesting. I've been working on magical orders with
yes, Tim's been working on some stuff,
sort of specific spells that fit the order, with some new spells that are in there. So they're like magicians, but they belong to an organization, so they kind of, you know, get their spells and their direction from them. And then also other types of mages that are not elementalists, but schools of magic, like a ice.
You're working on a sea mage too, aren't you?
I'm working on a sea mage. I've already consolidated all the first level spells, and this is out of I started it from a Pegasus magazine, a number 3 Pegasus, and I'm updating it and adding a little bit to it, and hoping that I can get Jay to buy off on it.
The great. All right, so Extort brought up something.
But I'm consolidating all the spells, so it won't just have a list. I'm actually getting the whole spells, even if it's in the player's handbook. I'm putting it in there, so in one document you can have all the spell descriptions.
Yeah, so Extort, the Grave Master, the Death Master is a class, an NPC only class by Leonard Lekofka. The Grave Master is in that supplemental book I use for undead types. It's a monster type. Vane was a Grave Master way back in 2018 when I did that, and I've used a Grave Master one recent time where the Grave Master can animate every undead corpse, every corpse within 25 miles. Something crazy. It's disgusting. So that's a class. That's not a class. That's a monster, the Grave Master, but it's a great one. So
that's like Walking Dead right there.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I love it. So, but no, yeah. There's a bunch, and Tim is working on that, and everyone's always doing something behind the scenes, and that's what, all right, never stop as a DM. And Anna will tell you the same thing. Never stop being creative.
Exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Have fun.
Very true.
And if you come up with that's a bad one, like I came up once with the Dominatrix, that was not a good class, and I play tested
Might
one.
have been a great class. Kind of limited in scope, maybe, but for some it might be a perfect class.
It was universally
what they were looking for their entire gaming career.
I could never stream that class. Okay, I just wouldn't work.
Of course not. No.
So, but note I still have it. But I just have not used it. It was a dark elf named Viersa.
Torturer class.
Yes. No, she was a dominatrix thief.
And to be honest, if you look at the art from back then, anyone could see that was a class that was probably thought about officially too.
Yeah. I didn't like, but you know, how long ago was that, Jay, when you made that?
20. It was in the 90s, so 20 years ago.
Yeah, I might have wanted just to see the art on that.
So I used Viconia's pick from Baldur's Gate 2 as Viersa. That pick, the Baldur's Gate 2 pick of her, that's who was my dominatrix. And, there are spells in the Great Net spellbook, because there's all such a sexual deviance all over the world, that put in theirs, and they all have no save, all these spells. And it drove Bill crazy. All the stuff I would do to them.
There
with
was
that.
a lot of crazy stuff in the
Yeah.
Great Net spellbook that I deleted
There was.
out of it.
And I went too far. And it didn't make the cut, obviously, because it's... Yes, Cat of Nine Tails was one of their weapons. Absolutely.
All they are is they're just. Oh, never mind.
Yes, you understand, and it just didn't fit,
Ooh.
and it moved on from it. But I still have it. If they piss me off enough, my players, one day I'll bring her back. So, come on, those were the days in the '90s. I got married in '96, and I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna have some fun. I'm sorry, my way. So. Oh, look at that. So I turned 54 in 2.5 hours. Yay. All right. All right. So Book of Erotic Fantasy. There's a lot of ways you can go. The James Jacobs writings would have been perfect for that too.
We had go back and watch that show, and you get some insight.
Yes, James Jacobs went over the top with that one book.
Yep.
The Vile Darkness.
It was a great show when
thank
you
you
talked about that. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I turned, like I said, 54 tomorrow. I had the in-laws over today with a little dinner party, minor, and this is yes, I made it. So
I turned 53 last month.
Yes, and the weird thing is, thank you everyone. I really appreciate the warm wishes. Next year, I actually can go in a retirement home, which is just crazy.
Hey, you can join me for PT tomorrow morning. We'll do a special birthday workout.
No, I have to get my COVID shot tomorrow. I'm actually going to.
Well, it'll be before that.
Yeah. So, alrighty. So, we're near time. I got a ton. Hang in there. We got the giveaways. I have a ton of unbelievable announcements coming. So let's start with what's up, Anna. And plus, please ask questions. We can always drop in there. So.
Yep. Oh, and there's a lot of stuff. I posted the first post about moving into texturing on the new Greyhawk world, and there is another post coming up that I'm working on now. It's the hidden workhorse when it comes to doing a lot of what I do with mapping, and that's masking. So I will write a blog post about that hidden extra feature that is built into so many of the tools I'm working with, and it's also a kind of a, if you want to work with graphics and 3D and materials, whatever, then masking is a thing that you need to understand how it works and stuff. So that is coming up very, very soon. And also a post about I've done all the basic new symbols for the maps going in the future. It might not be the finished version, so I'm going to actually get it out there so people can look at it and criticize it and stuff. But I changed a few of the symbols that I didn't like that much, that didn't function because they were hard to see, and they kind of, so I tried to streamline them a little bit and make them easier to see and to function that way, and also kind of clean them up a bit. So there is more symbols. So the whole set of basic symbols will be ready to go, and then I'll move into the Elven, Dwarven, and other variants as soon as the people can say that, oh yeah, we like them, and or we need to tweak this and that. So I done all the settlement symbols, and they were people didn't object too much, but there was only a couple of changes. I've done a few more changes to it. Oh, I see a question here.
About your group.
Yeah, they're still in town. They're still zero. Yeah, we've had 8 sessions, and yeah, so they're still in town and they're still 0 level. So, but we had a big fight that started. I didn't think they were going to take the bait that much, so to speak, but they went whole hog into fighting and starting a fire as a diversion, and started fighting, and now we have a big fight. The whole damn village kind of erupted in fights. We'll see how many of them survive.
That's the way oppression is.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So they are basically revolting and doing everything they can now. So it's kind of, yeah, we kind of moved into that bit. So now I have to see if I can save them, help saving them a bit. They have help from sources they're not really aware of yet. So that might actually save them. So that's, yeah, it was kind of a lot of fun last session. It was the first, and we kind of, one of the hallmarks that I try to do as a DM is that a lot of DMs, you're either not in combat or you are in combat, and then like say, okay, roll for initiative, and then the story kind of ends and combat starts. And I'm not that way. This kind of, I basically started doing rounds without declaring initiative. I just went from player to player and asked them, what is your character doing? And kept doing it. And all of a sudden, there was like a huge fight. And that's how I like to do it, because I want storytelling to continue even when the sword blows and the spells fly and all that, so to speak. I don't want it to end just because, and we just boil it down to mechanics afterwards. That's one of the key ways in the way I run games, is that combat and non-combat story is key, and the story of the game and the fun part and the dialogue and role playing should continue even while you're doing combat, so to speak. So I try to ease them in, and sometimes it's just boom and it comes from nowhere. This one was kind of very much gradual, and all of a sudden they were all fighting and sneaking and doing all sorts of stuff. So that was part of it. So yep. And so the campaign is very much going. We have the next session a week from now. So next Sunday is the next session. And let's see what we have more. Yeah, so we have the symbols coming up. We have masking. That will be the next installment in that. Plus, I will also start to laying the groundworks for Lendor Isles. So there will be sketches and stuff for Lendor Isles coming in the next couple of weeks, because we have to figure out where different, because there's so many different takes on where certain cities, settlements and stuff are, and other geographical features. So I will just do a very quick sketch out of the island, and we have to kind of look at where things were, because even Len has different towns and stuff in different places throughout on his maps too. So it has evolved. So there is not a pure like Len had the island this way, because things changed and was kind of turned around. And then we have the kind of version that came with TSR, made the official version of Lendor Isle became something different, and so on. So that will be yeah, that's a good question, Patrick, about streaming games, and I will definitely come there one day. Yeah, at least maybe not on a regular basis, but on at least trying to do it. Yeah,
there are ways to do it, and I could help you do that, and we could get up once every couple months. You're more than
we can and I would like to have
every week it's tough.
Maybe have runs a one shot or something like that.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Because the campaign I'm running is kind of more tedious than a lot of people would like to watch. But on the other hand, I've seen a lot of games being streamed that seems to be popular that also go into lengthy details and not much happening, so to speak. But it's something I'm not much of a streamer, but I'm starting to get good at, fairly skilled in actually running games using fantasy grounds and stuff. So especially if I can have a one shot where I have everything sketched out and stuff like that, and set up and the rules function, so to speak. So yeah.
Big thing. Okay,
sorry, go on.
No, I was going to talk about your event for Gary Con.
Oh yeah, exactly. Then we have the events. Some of you might have noticed that it disappeared from
tabletop events.
Yeah, from the tabletop events. The stream is going to happen, so the seminar will happen, and it will be run here on Lord Gesumba channel, so to speak. The reason was that since it wasn't on there was no room on any of the official Twitch channels for the con. That's why it's not an official con event, but it's going to happen. So yeah,
it's stupid, and I fought it, and Josh fought it, and that's all I'm going to say.
yeah.
I have some frustrations with the way they do it as opposed to the way I do it, but it's their con. So
Well, yeah.
there are 4 events that are not showing up on tabletop events anymore, but note
Yeah.
they're happening. 3 of them are the After Dark chats, and I will have late night, midnight my time, 11 p.m. Central, where we'll just go over what happened that day, and all of before we go into the late night show. Armin the first 2 nights and Prayers Rejects on Saturday night. But this one does not fit, but it's a good thing because we're going to have a massive audience for it, and then we'll raid into Carlos's game. You know, it's just on Friday. But it's a shame that it's not on TTE. It's ridiculous, but I fought as many battles as I could, and
I just don't think they understand that the certain types of discussion things draw more interest.
They do, and once again, if it was Greyhawk Con, this wouldn't be an issue, but it's Gary Con, so we got to follow what Gary Con wants, and that's what I'm doing, and I'm not making waves. I fight my fights. Everyone knows I do that for what's good for the community, and just know I'll make sure the Animire one is kicking the shit out of every other Gary Con channel and viewership at that time. You know that'll happen, so don't worry about it. Yes, it all works out in the end. So yeah, all right. Yeah, we got it all rocking and rolling here. So what's up, Tim? Yes, Tim needs to be more entertaining. So
what? I'm too boring?
Well, no, I'm talking about you need to do more stuff, is what they're saying. I think.
Oh. I have something special, especially after my whole Trapper incident. I got some special stuff planned for Jay and my next season. Oh yeah!
Thank you, Carlos. It's tomorrow. I turn 54. Thank you. Yes, I know you do, Tim, and we got to get another game in.
I haven't changed anything. I already have tons of stuff.
Yeah, in April we're gonna have some. We're gonna have some stuff going on with hopefully the Mysterious Tim in the City State, and note that Tim's crit tables killed Millie off in Blue Box last week, and that's not my problem. That's theirs, because I am not using Tim's. We have voted Tim's crit tables are never seen the light of day in my game because they're way too nasty. Way too realistic.
I'm going to pay off Alan and we'll sneak him in. Somebody will roll.
Now he's scared to death of them because I'll kill his guys off with them. Yes, so there you go.
He's the one reading. He'll just switch them out.
Yes, I'll make sure I'm reading him for that. So, yep. But that's what's going. Tim's got a lot going on as usual. Just remember Tim's game, Dark Hand Headhunt, right?
Yes.
There's one open sign up for it. It is Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern. 8 a.m. Central. That kicks off, and that doesn't even kick off Saturday. John at Blue Box has a Lore Masters Arcanum at 6 a.m. Here's the schedule. I
wanted
to
explain the name too. Yep. The Barbarian group, they were called the Dark Hand because they were the ones that were going to attack secretly, and so the tribal terms was that's the Dark Hand,
right?
Attacking the bad guys. So that's why they're kind of called the Dark Hand. They're the ones that surprise the bad guys. So they're not, in the main body of just the, run of the mill people. They're the special people that go do stuff for the tribe.
So trust me, Tim will be around a lot.
And they're headhunting.
Yes. So I want everyone to know that Mitch Zombie Night is going to attempt to watch through 4 days with very little sleep, which is great. Mitch Zombie Night has said he's going to try and watch everything. Wow. So with stuff going on all through the night, including New Zealander coverage and Praetors Rejects on Saturday night, and stuff going on at 6 o'clock in the morning. Best of luck to you, man. So attempt is key. I know.
Watch right up until the psychotic episode.
Yes. All right. So wait till you hear. Let's go through everything that's going on. All right. I'll try to do this as quickly as possible, and then we'll do the giveaways. So let's kick this week off with a massive show coming up on Wednesday night. You all need to be here and have as large an audience as we do tonight, because you will get Gary Julian the entire show for a memorable Legends and Lore. Everything about the Isle of Dread with Gary Julian on Legends and Lore. It doesn't get better than that, right? Plus, I'm heard there's going to be a special PDF giveaway for everyone who's in attendance for this. So, Amy, you got to work that night? So yes, I don't even know what direction this is going to go. So Gary's going to run this thing, and I'm going to sit back and watch, and just enjoy it. So note that is Wednesday night normal time.
And I'm afraid there might be dinosaurs and stuff. We
Well,
never know.
yes, but
Yep.
that's okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
I love Dread after all. So yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's
I
okay.
prefer to say ancient,
Yeah.
large lizards.
Mm-hmm.
So that kicks off a 4-stream week. All right, that's number 1. Number 2 is we finish up this thing that they are really upset that they went in on this because of this. Now they're fighting this priestess of Ouija who's trying to summon Zulatek, which I ripped off from, instead of Ulatek from Heavy Metal. In the depths of this forest, they went to help the Sylvan Elf Benean's brother Bernardin, who's a necromancer, and he's dumb. He's done all sorts of low wisdom type. And now they're in this fight because they're fighting all these wereboars and were-tigers. And why is that printer going off? I guess my wife's printing something downstairs. So the printer's running.
I didn't hear it.
Yeah. Miniature Building Authority's quarterly giveaway is Thursday. $75 gift certificate and a $25 gift certificate giveaway. Miniature Building Authority. The biggest giveaway we do is that one every quarter. So that is Thursday night. Saturday night. A Saturday night special. Living Greyhawk, Geoff style, the Barrier Geeks return. Eric Mengi, Shalom West, Casey Brown, Anna, David Quick, Jose Ortiz, and Recovery in the Mist Marsh, right outside Greyhawk. So we'll have an extra bonus Saturday night special. And Stratagem, I got a new product from them that we're going to be giving away.
And as is my tradition, I might join and give the DM some extra.
Yes, here it is. The King's Coffers, brand new. I always get their new products to show. They have all different 5-type denominations of D&D coin in them and a pouch. Really nice. These things go on Amazon for $40 each. Okay,
real gold.
I'm giving away 2. I'm giving away 2 of these during this Saturday night special. All right, the King's Coffers, brand new from Stratagem. They are on Amazon now if you want to spend the $40 plus tax. Yes. So Stratagem is great. They step up. This will be for the Saturday night special.
Yeah.
We've already seen this, but let's put this up again. Let me click that, and then let me click this. We see Carlos appear. Creating Greyhawk content. I want Carlos to not only describe his modules, where they're placed, but why they're placed there, and give you some ideas how to create your own Greyhawk content. So we'll talk about some of the stuff I've done, some of the stuff a lot of the stuff Carlos has done. Plus, we'll have a little special giveaway for this. A lot of you weren't around when Carlos did 3 custom adventures for me that I streamed about 1.5 to 2 years ago. I'm going to give them all away again. So 3 Carlos adventures in PDF that I ran in my Order of Violet campaign, written just for me. Next Sunday, we will give them away. And I mean anyone who wants them. I'm not going to do them this week. You got to come on next week and watch. And I'll do it at the end of the show. All right?
I'd like to also say, I think Finder was in one of those.
Yeah, and you set off every trap in it.
And also, Carlos tried to kill my character every time. And
yes, he
did. I don't know why he was doing that, but that's
yes, he did. It just gets better. Now, this one I don't have a placard for because I don't have the exact date. Either the Wednesday after Gary's or the Wednesday after that, right before GaryCon, we're going to have our next Living Greyhawk Triad group discussion. And this one's a different spin. It's going to be the women triads of Living Greyhawk. So we're going to have an all-female crew discussing their experiences in Living Greyhawk. All right, and Casey's working on that. It'll either be the 17th or the 24th. And whichever one is that, the other one will have a different Legends and Lore before GaryCon. So, plus you, of course, Casey, you're considered a woman anyway. So, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. So, yes, so that we'll have that one coming up, and we're not sure on the date on that. But the last big one, the 21st of the Sunday before GaryCon. We have a GaryCon 13 preview Gabbin. I have Luke Gygax coming on for the first hour, the second hour, and there may be some crossover between them. Let me click that button there. I will have the Stefan Picorni himself,
Awesome.
from the owner of Dwarven Forge, on to discuss what they're doing at Gary Con as well. So Luke Gygax and Stefan Picorni in the same
cool.
show.
Yeah, he's
okay.
Cool.
Yes, and Luke. Yes, and Luke. So, yes, we're gonna have a yes. Thank you. I've been working on this one. That'll be GaryCon 13 preview. That'll be the Gabbin before. Now the Gabbin of, and I don't have a placard for this yet. The Gabbin of the Sun, and my wife's doing more stuff. Oh, she's doing recipes. The Gabbin of is the Ask the Expert. So Gabbin 138 is Gary Julian, Eric Mona, Eric Boyd, Grow Dog, Alan Growy, Malden Dennis Tetro. That's the last event of GaryCon for us, and that'll be Gabbin 138, Ask the Experts. Sound good, everyone?
Yep.
Thank you.
Sounds fantastic.
Jay, I'm tired now.
I am working it.
Started yet?
I am working it. So four streams next week. Then I'll have a week off from 3 streams. Right? We'll have a Saturday night, and then all the content for GaryCon coming up. So not much going on. So thank you all. What a huge audience tonight. What a wonderful show. That's it. Yep. That's it. Thank you. If anyone has questions, you can always reach out. I'm looking forward to Carlos next week. It'll be a great 4 streams we have. Great giveaways the whole time. Wonderful stuff. Please just hang out with us. Let's do the giveaways for tonight. All right. Now, I'm going to let you pick if you win first between the Mike Disney print or the Crusader Journal giveaway. All right, for the first person. Note this: if you already have one, that's why. All right, we'll try and get through to make it everyone. Thank you, Longshot. Thank you very much. Oh, cool. So let me link that. George, link that in. Just put it in link. Go ahead. Put it in link for me. It'll be easier. George is going to put the GaryCon badge registration in link for you, please. Piatoni, go ahead. Put it in there. All right. All right. Let me get these. Let me get this command thing set up. Yes. So you do need to have a badge to, of course, sign up for events, and they're coming. So I think it's the 13th that starts official. I think the special, there's only 50 people with special badges, and that starts like tomorrow. And they're only premier events they can sign up for. Casey has a couple premier events, by the way, for his tournament. So where am I? Cloud. I'm talking to myself. I'm sorry. Giveaways. All right. Last call. Anyone else? I am closing out entries. Boom. All right. Here comes the first winner. Drew Boy 112. Do you want the Mike Disney print or the PDF download for all of the Crusader journals? Yes, you did, man. Which one? I will send you this wonderful overgorge signed Mike Disney print if you want, or the PDF of the Crusader journals from Troller Games. There's 27 of them. Which one do you want, Drew Boy? Mike Disney. Okay, Drew Boy, please whisper me your full name and address so I can send it to you. Okay? Great. Congrats, man. Second winner. Long shot. Do you have the Crusader journals, long shot? I may have given them to you already. Do you got the long shot? Do you have the Crusader journals? Okay.
Jay doesn't let people who are close by win anything.
It's random. All right, long shot. I will give you a Mike Disney print as well. I think I have your address, so I'll send that out to you as well. All right, so we're going to do this next one. If you already have it, you're out of luck. We'll do the third and final one will be the Crusader Journal giveaway, okay? So there you go. Drew Boy, long shot. Here comes the last winner. Oh, my pleasure. Is Patrick, Canadian Ancient Gamer. He already has it, I know. So, Patrick, you already have it. So, we'll go on to the next person. Right, Patrick? I know you have it. I kind of gave it to him. already. Right, Patrick? Yes. Patrick already has it. Goats are goats. I know. I don't. Goats doesn't have it. So there you go, goats. You get the. I will whisper you the code. Glad you won that. So awesome. Now we're going to raid into Nerd Bouchery. Now Nerd Bouchery is a Forgotten Realms streamer, but he uses miniatures, and he is literally 6 or 7 miles from where I live, and he's a good guy. Yeah, he lives in Williamstown, Tim. And he uses a lot of miniatures and terrain, almost all Dwarven Forge. And he's a good guy, and there's really no one else on, that I want to raid into tonight. So let's do it for him. He's a good guy. So thank you, everyone. Congrats to all. I have stuff to get out to a lot of people. I owe Coma a book. I owe John Cowart, Taco a book, and so I will be getting out this stuff. Sit tight, everyone. Oh, you're welcome, Drew Boy. Just make sure you whisper me your name and address, please, full in its entirety, so I can get it to you. All right. So thank you for a wonderful, wonderful show. I know we always run late, and hey, thank you. Appreciate the birthday wishes, and we'll see you on Wednesday night. I'll be hanging out. Please. We got a ton of great streams going on. I forgot one last thing. I forgot. Greyhawk Tales. Wu-Tang Piglet. Everyone know him? Someone type in his address, please, for me. Twitch.tv/Greyhawk Tales. Glad I didn't forget. Yeah, I'm sorry. I almost forgot. He has 2 open spots in his Sunday morning Greyhawk game. It's 5e. Okay. I'm glad I got it. It's 5e. He's got Geek Dice playing in and a couple other great people, and he wants 2 more players. You have to commit to every Sunday at noon Eastern. Thank you, Phantom. Phantom plays in the Wily Hobbit game, which is a little later than that. So
I just love that name.
Yes. So I don't know. Hey, whatever you play is fine with me, man. Whatever playing 5e is awesome. Don't worry. Yeah, whatever you play is great. So reach out to Wu-Tang, play it via Whisper or on Discord or however. If you're interested in playing in his game on a regular basis, you have to commit to that time slot every week, because you can't just bail in and out. You got to be committed to it. But it's a Greyhawk game. It's pretty cool. So there you go. All right. Man, that was close. I promised earlier, and so I will hope for it. I won't hold anything against anyone there. So check out his stream, Greyhawk Tales, and have fun with it. And there's a game that you can play that's live streamed, and don't worry about it, man. No, seriously, it's a community. We're all trying to help each other out. I'm just glad I remembered. All right, I'll get the winnings out to everyone, and thank you, Tim, for coming on with a great discussion. Anna, thank you as always.
Oh, thank you.
It was a
wonderful.
pleasure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful night, and we'll see you all soon. And will Jay hit the right button here? Hopefully. All right, let's raid into. Hang on, please, and raid it. Let's raid into Nerd Bouchery, okay? Yes. Let's see how many we can get on this raid. I gotta set it up real quick. Raid. Give me a sec here.
Yep.
This will like quintuple or sextuple his viewers right now, so he'll really be appreciative. Wow. 76? That is awesome. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll see you all soon. Thank you. Wow. That's like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So are we still on?
Yeah, I got to get off 1 second here.